Live from the Dingo Den, it's BoonePod featuring the Dantichrist.
I was looking at the audio levels that peaked the mic so bad.
My bad.
No, it'll be really good. I'll keep it in. I'll keep it. You got to keep in the whatever. How's it going?
It's going well, man. How are you doing today?
Been all over the place.
Yeah, I feel that.
Been up since way too early in the morning.
Understand I went to bed way too late in the morning, so.
How late is too late?
I don't know. Today was 2. That's because there's like alcohol involved. Sometimes it's like 4
I thought you were going to say like 5.
That's a normal day.
5? Okay.
On like an off day, but there's like different levels of days. So, you know, if I'm like not working somewhere, 4 or 5. If I am working, maybe 3, 2.
Okay.
Just kind of depends on the day, what's going on night before, day of. So, between life and work and all that.
Depends on the if I'm going to classes the next day or not.
Fair. That's also a fair one.
If I'm going to class, the cutoff's like 2.
Yeah, I think work right now, it's like 12 I have to go in, so I'll stay up to like 3 or 4 and be like, all right, this is cool after watching some movie or whatever. Mm-hmm. But
I feel like I should probably intro now.
yeah, it's probably intro.
Well, mine wasn't good enough?
No, well,
I mean, the intro is good.
I won't intro. I won't say, hey guys, welcome to BoonePod episode 12. I totally won't say that.
Why would you say that?
I don't know why I would say that.
Who keeps track of time and numbers anyway?
I will say this is the weirdest place I've ever recorded an episode. But I'm totally down to do more episodes like this.
You call my apartment weird?
They're definitely
It's
called
definitely a strange place.
That's strange.
I have so many shoes on the ground.
You don't appreciate the Turkish.
I wish you guys could see this place. This is awesome. The Turkish Patrick flag, this dog is fucked up. Oh, I didn't even see the Dale Earnhardt
set list, record collection, Dingo.
Especially Dingo.
Dingo's just around the whole episode, really.
This episode's gonna be so weird for people to listen.
Yeah, they were like, "What's that?"
Usually I record in this clean, pristine audio recording room. This is just somebody's apartment.
I mean, did you expect it to be like an actual normal episode? Some people will.
No, I mean, I honestly didn't expect it to be.
I mean,
so for the last episode of the season, this fits.
Oh, this is good. You started off with like, you know, some common good people, and then now you're at the
as the season goes on, it gets more deranged.
Yeah, this is where it's like it's the breaking point, you know,
Yeah,
where the characters are like about to enter their season 2 arc. Some shit happens.
This is where the climax of the season is about to happen.
All the dramatic music by Imagine Dragons plays in the background. It's awesome.
I would hope that the BoonePod show isn't scored by Imagine Dragons.
I would hope not either. It's probably scored by I don't know, Sloth maybe. Maybe, I don't know.
If I can get them, it'll be scored by them when I can get them on the podcast.
Oh, they're not on the podcast yet? I don't know who's on the podcast or not. I know some episodes.
I don't blame them at all. Like that, they're super busy.
They're busy
really
as fuck,
popular.
man.
They're really busy, and I understand that they're they just don't have time to record with a schmuck like me. But
seriously,
but they did hit me up recently, being like, "Hey, this is I can't remember his name, but it's this guy from Sloth. Or would you still want? Sorry for like not communicating or whatever. Do you still want to be on the podcast? I mean, do you still want us to come on the podcast?" And I'm like, "Yes, but I'm not recording any more episodes this year, so."
Damn.
Yeah, this is the last episode I'm recording for the year.
So you got.
Then I'm giving myself a break.
I respect that. Breaks are nice, especially in January and February. Good time for breaks.
Well, especially so I don't have to keep up the upload schedule that I usually do.
It's an impressive upload schedule.
I had someone else tell me that, and they're like, "How do you keep up such an impressive upload schedule?" I'm like, "I hate myself. That's why."
True.
Someone else was like, "Oh yeah, we only upload every now and then." I'm like, I don't know. I like to kind of keep a consistent schedule. That's what the Instagram description says.
I mean, that was the same with like Backyard when I started. That was like every Wednesday was a post, and then the pandemic happened, and then it was nothing, and then I came back 1 week, and then that stayed consistent up until about August. Then some life happened and kind of dropped off it for a little while. Now I'm back on it, so. But that's been cool doing Backyard again.
It's
start
awesome.
there. It's probably a new start, I guess, in this whole monotonous, crazy podcast here. I don't know. Words are weird, so.
Words are weird. I mean, I don't know. I do want to keep doing this podcast, but I'm going to give myself a little...
You should. You
don't give myself a little break.
Usually breaks, you get, like, trained, and then your post sounds like you don't care anymore, and it's just, here's some information, now leave me alone for a while.
Well, also, I think, like, the secondary reason is that all of the people that I want to interview probably aren't going to be in Boone for me to interview them, because they're all going to be, you know, like with their parents or whatever. So, you know, I don't want to put out like 15 solo episodes during the break. So
Make them soundscapes. It's just the sound of Boone nature for an episode. That's it.
I have thought about doing an episode where I go hiking and just record an episode of me talking to the mic while I go hiking or something. But
It's like ambient swim. I dig it.
yeah, I do also want to do more. I don't know what else to call it other than like guerrilla interviews, where I want to just go somewhere on campus and just like put up a sign that says, "Hey, I'm BoonePod, come talk to me," and then I just want random people to come talk. No video or anything, just like sit down, record like this. Honestly,
Sounds like a good idea. This might be the first attempt then. Doing,
Maybe.
I don't know.
just get me used to it.
It's different, you know. I don't think I've ever done the recording this laid back before. I mean, I've done a lot of interviews for the whole project and all that. So
I mean, I try to keep my interviews pretty calm.
yeah,
Except for when, you know. Yeah.
What up?
That interview went haywire.
The
It
Dingo
was really
episode.
fucking funny, though.
It's all right.
Damn
It's
straight.
funny. It's funny, I guess.
I've noticed that, like, half of the episodes that I do are, like, actual interviews where I talk to people about what they do. And then some episodes are like, yeah, let's talk about our favorite Subway orders for, like, 40 minutes.
That was like really engaging. The other day I was listening to that episode and I was like, all right, Subway information. And I want a sub now. Then they were all closed and I was like, fuck.
And then, what was that? That was the Gaining Composure
Yeah,
episode.
so listen to that
where
one.
we were talking about Subway orders. And then they told me, I never updated anybody on this. They told me the Gaining Composure public sub order, I did go and get it after we recorded. And it was very good.
I need to know this information after the pod so I can just,
I couldn't tell it to you off the top of my head. I
got
don't know.
you.
It's actually no. It is like, I think it's like the chicken tender sub with like some spicy sauce on it, and like pickles and onions and whatever on like
I'll
Italian
just-
bread or something. It is really good.
I will just message him from backyard and might look, if you want more promotion, I have to know this information or nothing.
I will promote you guys for free. I have to know that. I have to know that public
Yeah,
sub order.
that's all I need to know. So I can promote that and Subway at the same time to get a sponsorship. That'd be sick. I do love Subway though.
Subway is, I don't know. What's the best sub place?
Whatever's local and some random Italian guy screaming at me normally. That one's pretty good. I like that. Which is wherever local spot makes sandwiches. I'm like, all right, you're cool. So
I feel like I need to do an episode like that.
just do it in a sub spot.
Just in like some random Italian restaurant with the manager screaming at me.
As long as it
the
doesn't
whole
turn into
time.
like a Godfather situation, I think you're fine. So bad things happen and
I mean, I don't know how
Restaurants.
much We'll have to see.
yeah.
We'll have to see. I don't know about that one.
Like it would suck if you're like mid-interview and you get murdered during it, you know?
I feel like that would actually make the interview better.
It would be the last one. It would be the actual last episode of a season.
BoonePod murdered live on episode. Maybe that's what's gonna happen in the second Dingo episode.
Whoa.
No. Maybe. We'll see.
We'll have to see.
It'd be more, it wouldn't be murder, it'd be manslaughter. Because I wouldn't try and kill you. It would just, if it happens, it happens.
We go to the audio recording room and people come out and it's literally all the phone, the computer's covered in my blood.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show up
And
just
And my blood too. I would definitely be getting injured too. I'm never gonna make someone get more injured than me.
Who wins in a fight, BoonePod or AmericanDingo?
Oh,
To the
that's
death.
You know how YouTubers have been doing boxing matches?
Yeah.
let's do a charity match between
I will
AmericanDingo and BoonePod.
out that so much.
That would be awesome.
So good.
If I ever start putting out BoonePod videos. Maybe.
I'll be
I've
there
got
with.
one planned and mostly edited.
That's pretty sweet.
Well, it's really not much. It's basically just a video of me announcing that the podcast is going on hiatus, and then like a credit sequence of everybody that's been on, and then maybe a little message from me at the end.
Should do
But-
a PSA.
PSA: BoonePod says to smoke 16 cigarettes a day.
You should.
Endorsed by Dingo.
What's the official BoonePod brand of cigarettes is American Spirits.
Yes.
The American Dingoes.
The American Dingo. Yeah, you should make your own cigarette brand. The American Dingoes.
I'll hit up American Spirit.
Okay.
What's that one guy like rolls around cigarettes? You just use
Oh,
that.
Nate
Yeah.
Fear Illusion.
Yeah, Fear Illusion, those guys.
Start rolling your own cigarettes.
I mean, I've known people doing that, like, at shows, chilling in the background, rolling cigarettes and whatnot. So,
I mean, I don't smoke, so.
it's... lungs?
BoonePod officially does no drugs.
Straight edge?
No.
So, Weapon X level? What are we talking?
No. If I was straight edge, I wouldn't drink coffee.
Ooh, so you're, like, that level of, like, you know, straight edge. Got it. So, it's like different.
I'm not
range.
straight. It's not that I am opposed to smoking. I just don't.
Same.
If someone offered me a cigarette, I'd probably say no.
Would you like a cigarette?
I'm underage.
Oh, shit.
So am I, but it's legal.
Yeah, I bought
I
one
got
for
one
you.
cap right now.
Yeah, you look so, like...
I noticed that.
Is this your Midwest emo fit?
Yeah.
Yeah, in case you obviously can't see.
The holes in the ass of these pants.
Dingo's just rocking,
Why are those
like...
holes there?
I've had these since I was a freshman in high school.
Oh. Not for any other reason?
No, not for getting butt fucked, although that is a perk.
Okay.
I'll leave y'all alone, I'm sorry.
The American Dingo pegging session.
Whoa!
Whoa, who said that?
Don't tempt me with a good time.
That wasn't me.
By the way, yeah, no, we're
Yeah,
haunted
yeah.
by
This place is haunted,
apartment is
actually.
haunted by a Vietnamese pop star ghost from the 80s.
It's
So
true.
If you ever hear some weird shit or like, yeah,
That's a ghost.
it's not me.
It's not you.
Nope.
And it also travels sometimes. You'll be like at a party in Boone, and you'll hear it just
A
down the hallway. It's crazy.
A little Vietnamese man will pop up.
One day it'll take over backyard. I don't know. So
The Vietnamese man consumes all. He really does. I'm gonna have people listening to this episode being like, "What the fuck is this?"
also, since
episode?
we haven't even talked about like what the hell I do.
No, this happened.
I've gotten to that point of like,
This
what is?
happened with the Natalie Capes episode I did. We did not talk about. We talked about her music for maybe 5 minutes. For 45 minutes, we talked about Smash Bros. Melee,
Respect.
and we both talked about how it's okay. Melee is okay.
That's what my buddies do when they're like super fucking high.
Playing
Back in
Melee.
the town I come from, they'll just play Melee and get high, and then somebody play Mario Kart, and I'm just bored, chilling.
I suck at Melee. I'm awful at it.
I just make fun of them the whole time, and start like figure out which one is really messed up, and start messing with their head the whole time, talking about the universe and crazy shit. Then they tell me to shut up normally at some point. So like, dude, you went too far again.
Are you that kind of trip sitter? Or you just fuck
The thing
with
is,
them?
I don't know. My trip sitting consists of me just chilling most of the time.
And then every hour on the hour, you point a gun in their face and you scream at them, and then you go back to chilling.
I need to do that next time, actually.
Yeah, next person you're trip sitting, just put a 12 gauge right in their face.
I don't know a like trip setting where I've been just on my phone and someone's texting me like, "Oh, I'm tripping right now by myself." I'm like, "Oh."
Awesome.
Well, and they're like, "You're like my brother, so like I'm
I'll be over there.
texting." They'll FaceTime me, and I'll be like, "All right, cool. You're like 40 minutes away from me. We're just gonna FaceTime for a while. This is cool." I don't know. All the trips I've done myself lately are just me watching Italian films and chilling. Then at some point get distracted by someone listening to that.
What kind of Italian?
Galio Italian horror. For a couple weeks, I was just trying to watch good Galio Italian horror films, and I got through like one or two. They're good. It's just
How many are there?
I don't know. That dude alone. No, it's at least 10. At least 10 by one guy, but then you have like 2 or 3 other famous Italian horror directors, so you got all their movies to watch, and it becomes a whole saga of trying to complete them all. Like it's Pokemon, and you know, you're rambling through streaming services to find movies. It's
Speaking of Pokemon,
Pokemon.
I want
Yeah.
to talk to Dingo about this. I posted.
Not my interview.
You're on here, all right?
This is you're just the side character in this interview, I guess.
I posted a picture of the official BoonePod Pokemon team,
I remember this.
and you. Dingo posted on the bottom like, "It's only been 4 days," and I'm like, "Yeah, so what?"
That was pretty impressive.
I want someone to challenge the BoonePod official Pokemon team. I'll kick their ass
Yeah, probably.
in
I've always
Pokemon.
tried to be competitive, but I'm very bad at like EVs and IVs and breeding and shit like that.
Yeah, no, I don't understand that stuff at all. But all the Pokemon I choose are exclusively cool factor,
That's how I play
depending
Pokemon.
on depending on how cool they are.
Or if it's a good name. That's me.
I don't.
I also
Do you name your Pokemon?
I haven't played Pokemon in years, but I was also like the weird guy like Digimon more. So
I've never been into.
I think I like the theme song more. I think that's part of it. I don't know.
I never got into either of the animes. I mean, I watched the Pokemon anime when I was like a little kid, but like.
Games are fun though.
Yeah, Pokemon games are like crack for me. I can't not play them.
Yeah.
Every time a new one comes out, I'm like, well, there goes $60.
See,
My bank account hates me.
that we went from colors to this rock formations and whatever, and we never went to like patterns. I was really hoping for like Pokemon flannel at some point or Pokemon stripes.
We're back to colors.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I was
Scarlet
like, okay,
and Violet, we're back.
yeah,
But then the last one was Pokemon Legends Arceus.
it's
That game's really good,
the name's just too long.
I guess.
I don't know.
It's too long if you can't read, I guess.
I mean, who says I can? I don't know. This backyard post looked really good. I might have this at Ghost Rider. You don't know what's going on there.
Ghost Rider.
It's not this ghost, by the way. It's a different ghost.
Oh, I mean,
it's one of the ghosts.
He attacks us again.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, I've
You
worked
guys,
with haunted
need
places.
to call like an exorcist or something.
Nah, dog. The ghost. is
You
nice.
like him?
Yeah, man. I'm the Dantichrist. I have to like the ghost. I mean, what? You expecting like the Holy Ghost or something? I mean, what do you expect
Do you
here?
play any of his albums?
Who? Which one?
The Vietnamese man.
I haven't asked yet. You know,
Oh.
I haven't looked at his Discogs to find out like what albums there is to.
You should go check out
use.
his stuff on Bandcamp.
Probably. It's just Haunting EP1, Haunting EP2 with Dingoes.
And all of them are like 3-second clips of him going, yeah, yeah.
That's exactly what. That's also another one. It's everywhere, man.
Are you sure that's not a different ghost?
I don't know.
Is it the same
You know,
ghost?
I'll go back to like the place I come from, and I'll like wake up and it'll just be there. I'll hear the sound, and I'll be like, "What? This is strange." I'll step the
When's the
master plan.
European branch?
I don't know. I'm still trying to get all the other states' backyards page set up too. I've been debating starting one in New Orleans right now, actually, because the whole point of the backyard thing is just. I mean, I guess we can travel into that, but I mean, the whole page of backyard is just promoting local music. So eventually, I would like to do all 50 states.
That's
Including-
fucking awesome.
And like I have like buddies in different little states. A lot of our friends do. So I'm kind of debating like, hey, would you want to have a hypothetical franchise essentially and do that state?
So have like a chapter in each
Yeah.
state or
So
something?
I mean, the obvious ones would be like South Carolina, Virginia. But then there's a couple of random buddies of mine in different other spots. Like a buddy of mine named Alex lives in like New Orleans, and he has been involved with the like New Orleans hardcore scene there. Then with some friends in different other spots, and it's kind of been like, maybe that's the person we go tackle next.
Maybe I should do that with BoonePod.
I may be.
BoonePod, Arizona.
Whoa. Has nothing to do with Boone.
Arizona Pod.
Arizona Pod? I mean,
Oh, actually, here's what I'll do. It's for the other ASU, Arizona State University.
there you go.
I get stuff on TikTok all the time about Arizona State University. I'm like, oh, this is about my school. It's not. Actually, we should wage war on them. App State should wage war on ASU.
I'll join. I'll be in Texas in January. I'll just start putting spies out that way. Just kind of like plant people.
Be the little correspondent.
Yeah. Start going to Arizona for a day.
The Boone Railway.
I'll lead the charge. It's fine.
Okay.
Boone loves me. I don't know what's going on there, but
Boone loves everyone.
it's weird, I guess. Maybe.
It is weird.
I don't know.
It's because we're all on top of a mountain,
It's true. It's a very nice mountain.
and nobody has enough houses to live. Awesome, I love it up here.
I know, right? This is a nice house. This is good. Apartment?
No,
house?
it's
I
a
don't know.
home.
It's a home. It's more of a
It's a
home,
home.
than how I feel where I live. So,
My roommate always gets confused when I'm saying, hey, I'm coming back home. He's like, are you going to visit your parents? I'm like, no, I'm going back to the apartment.
the actual
It's a
home.
home.
Yeah. See, when I say that, I
BoonePod
just,
HQ.
Yeah. I
Which
just
nobody
rattle
knows
off the
where it
city.
is.
Where is it? Who knows? HQ? Crazy.
BoonePod HQ is actually just the entire city of Boone.
Oh, okay.
Homeless.
Awesome. Me too. The whole state's my city. Like,
Boone is my city.
Boone's my camp. I have friends who are like, why are you just not living there now? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
You
The release. It's been debated. We'll see what happens.
You have to take it back to the others. Put a
Something like
motion
that.
forth in the courts.
I mean, the backyard camp was, let's see, Graham. That's where it's at right now. Then it was Durham for a while. And then briefly Greensboro. So, like, you know.
Is it just anywhere you go?
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's the point of the page is, like, the whole page, I guess we'll go back to that, is, like, I started because no one else was doing a local music promotional page. And I was at a show for Jake Scapes, like, now in Sloth, and 20 million other projects because he's busy as fuck. And, I mean, it's true. Jake is busy as fuck. Love him. But, like, dude's like my little brother. And his first band, I met them. And they had this super sick EP release show, and like after the show was over, it was like, I don't know, 100 plus kids. It was pretty impressive. And someone's like, so why is no one doing this more? Like, we should have more people promoting this type of stuff. No one's doing that. And I kind of was like,
sitting like, whoa.
And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And my buddy at the time was like, you're fucking crazy. And I'm like, yeah, but someone's got to do it. And he's like, all right, whatever, man. Like, good luck. I support it. Like, good luck. And that was like May 2019. And so I spent a weekend just trying to figure out what the name was going to be and going back and forth with different concepts of like so and such music scene, blah, blah. I was like, no, it's going to work. And so I talked to my mom one day, and I was like, something about like, oh, there's so-and-so show in the backyard. And I was like, that's it. And so I like ran with In Your Backyard.
You had a little Jimmy Neutron moment.
Yeah, and I just like paused, and I was like, that's the name. And so I like called a buddy of mine who did like a really rough logo, and I was like, sick. This is not amazing, but it will work for right now. Threw that on the page, started the page, called one of my best friends, named Theo, and I was like, yo, so I'm gonna start this page. At some point, I need your help running it. And Theo's like, okay, cool, awesome. So that started in 2019. The page dropped, and then little by little, the word started getting around about this page going on, and it became such a thing of like, I'd be chilling, hanging out, and someone would be like, oh, you're the backyard guy. And I'm like, who? Where? Oh, yeah, what's up? I'm the backyard guy. And then like also at the same time, I had started running with the name Dantichrist, which...
It's a really good name, by the way.
It starts a social experiment, ironically enough. I was working at a Sheets, and the guys there were trying to come up with nicknames for me, and they're like, no, not that one, not that one. And I jokingly said that, and they're like, that's hilarious. And that literally lasted for like 2 days and didn't stick, but I thought it'd be a fun Instagram handle to switch to. So I switched to that, met Jake. Jake thought it was funny enough because thinks I know Jake is like introducing me to all of his buddies in high school, and his parents like got introduced to me as the Antichrist, which was hilarious when your parents introduced me as that name. And next I know, like Jake's running around with like a hashtag. So I said one time like Antichrist saves, and then that became a 100+ now hashtag with people posting like pictures of their grandma with Antichrist saves under it. It's crazy. But yeah, like the name started, the page started, and then
I need to start it just anytime I go out in Boone. Just, hey, hi, I'm BoonePod.
I mean, sometimes it works. Like, there's been situations where I've, like, wandered into a show just kind of chilling out, and then people are like, holy shit, you're him. And then they're talking to me for 5 minutes because they recognize my pace, or Jake's there, and Jake's, like, pointing me out, and be like, oh, that's the dude you want to talk to. And I'm like, all right, sweet. So, but yeah, it started 2019, and started just producing, you know, flyers of shows, and, you know, figuring out how to hunt down bands, figuring out how to talk to bands.
That's the hardest part.
It was tricky at first.
The hardest part is hunting down the bands.
You had to, like, find bands, because 2019 was like, an interesting year, because, like, hardcore wasn't, like, it was going on, but it was in such this weird, like, almost dry period, because there was a lot of this beef going on with older groups then. So, like, that was shutting down for a while. But, you know, it was all these, like, Midwest emo bands and stuff, and so I was, like, becoming buddies with a lot of these dudes, and they were starting bands, and it started becoming like, oh, you're the guy at shows, blah, 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 you're the guy. I always was like, not always great at talking to people. So a friend of mine named Theo did a lot of talking sometimes because I don't want to do all those, shy about it more. But yeah, so like, you know, started finding the audience. I started finding flyers. The next thing I know, it was like, I don't know, by that fall, winter, it's like 20+ flyers I'm posting every week, like weekly, like every single week. I am like working my job, which I was
insane.
Yeah, I was literally working like a third shift job at Sheets on the most of my weeks, and going to be a roadie for Jake's first band, and promoting shows all in the same week, but also literally at shows like promoting stuff. Then if I was too tired with other events, I had my buddy Theo take over, and they would run the whole thing for a while. I'd go back and forth, and that was going well. And by like, you know, 2019, I'm like, what if we do a festival? It'd be awesome. It'd be so sick. And then the pandemic happened, and we all like got bored, and there was nothing else to do, and things kind of chilled out for a while. Then in the end of like, you know, beginning 2021, I got back on it. But like, yeah, it's been like almost 4 years next May of like working on this project, and the response is crazy. Like, there was a band that came, Message Backyard back this August from New York, this hardcore band. And they were like, yeah, you know anyone to play a show down here? And I was like, yeah, I can find some people for you. And next thing I know, they got on a bill with a boom band called Stomped Out, which was sick. And then like
another band I'm trying to have on.
Yeah, Stomped Out's great. You should do next. Maybe that's your next episode. I don't know. But
I already think I know who I want to do next season for the first episode.
There you go.
I won't spoil it, but I think I know who I want.
Awesome. That sounds...
No. I do want to have you on next season, though, at some point.
The Dingo Returns, Strikes Back.
Dingo Part 2.
Dingo Part 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Dingo the Squeak Wolf.
Ooh. It's good. It's solid. But yeah, so, like, you know, it's just started picking up, and then that was cool because like that show was really because they messaged the page and then they got a show. Because that's like Backyard's crazy. There's so much like networking going on of like, I don't know, bands. I had a band out of Texas this summer who were like, yeah, we're trying to find some NC dates, and they were like, I'm like, all right, cool, here's some spots. Then 5 months later, I'm like, oh, you're playing a show now. That's crazy. A lot of stuff has happened. Like I've met a lot of people just because that page. I mean, wouldn't kind of be where I'm at now if it weren't for the whole starting the project, but it's kind of saved my life. So
Cool.
But yeah, that's actually Backyard and what the point of it is.
I mean,
it's
all
just
of your
networking.
stuff is insane. Everyone that I've told that I was having you on the podcast, they're like, "What?" No. I've actually had like 3 or 4 people be like, "What the fuck? You're having him on?" So
It's insane. Like I don't realize the amount of. Cause I don't always love the spotlight. Like I appreciate it, I enjoy it, but it's also weird to have people be like that admiring of the stuff and then being like, oh shit,
that's why I don't show my face on anything BoonePod related.
The same way. I didn't always show, like early on there was a whole thing about like, why aren't you showing your face? I'm like, I don't like showing my face. It's like the attention on me. And
Maybe eventually.
But then, like, yeah, so I eventually started like every so often post my face on something, or like occasionally if they recognize me at a show. My hair was like used to be a lot more colorful. So it's kind of like, oh, you're him.
Yeah,
what's
mine
up?
too.
Yeah, but now I'm just rocking this whatever.
The Bald Brothers.
Yeah. But so yeah, it's
Not me.
what's up?
So not me.
Not right now.
I know.
I might have a little surprise for you after the episode ends.
Whoa.
You're not shaving my head.
People will cry. They'll riot.
They'll riot.
The Dingo fan base.
That would be really upset, and some people is taking a nap in my bedroom right now.
Yeah, it's
They
understandable.
may have to be upset. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not joining on this one that level then. So I will jokingly suggest it, but it's just me jokingly suggest shit. But yeah, it's I don't know. The response is crazy. Sometimes when I'm in trying, I'll go to a gig and everyone's like, "Oh, you're that guy." I'm like, "Oh, hi, how you doing?" Or like, I'm not even trying to talk about it, and I wind up talking about it. Or yeah, it's insane. The response in the past couple years, and I can't take credit of all of it. A lot of it's my buddy Theo for a while was helping out up until about July. Then they got busy working as a professional piercer because they work at a tattoo and body shop. Yeah, so like one of their big passions is like tattoos and body piercings and stuff. And for the longest time, was Theo and I working on it. And then, you know, life happens and whatnot. You kind of get a chance to do your passion, which is like, you know, really wants to be like tattoo stuff. But right now it's just body piercing. And about sometime this summer, they're like, hey, you know, the project's been great, but I need to work on this and focus on that along with my own piercing page and the piercing tattoo Instagram account. And I was like, yeah, it's like 2 extra pages along with back. Yeah, I totally understand. You go focus on that. I took a small like break on. I've just in the past month or so got back on the backyard trail of just doing it again, which has been fun. So like, yeah, there's like a small little break there. It was just like story posts, but like actual posts where sometime in October that started back up again, which has been sick. So,
Because I know me and you've been trying to plan this episode for a while.
yeah, you reached out and I was like, yeah, what? Like who did you ask? Because I thought one of them in this room where it was just like, oh yeah, throw him on. And I was like, all right, which one you guys asked about? And Jake was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I was like, okay, which one you go to party? We're like, talk to him next. So that was really sick. I was kind of geeking out and like told my family, oh, I'm doing the podcast thing again. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh no, I'm doing interviews. And it's sick. I've done a couple. I did one like NC State's like college paper, which was really sick. It was like around Christmas time. Then I did like a video documentary about it, which was cool. No, I haven't done like an actual podcast. I actually like enjoyed, you know, listening to it myself. Yeah, it sucks. I've enjoyed your show so far. So
I'm still shocked that people like listening to it. Every time someone's like, "Yeah, I like listening to your show," or like, I'm like, "Why?"
I mean, half
I'm
of them.
like, "Why do you like listening to my show?"
I mean, it helps that half of them been like buddies or people, friends I know. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll check this one out, see what they said, crazy stuff, or if I have some random mention in them. So, but yeah, it's crazy doing the show now. Finally, after 2 months of us trying to get this to put together, and I was kind of like, well, maybe it won't happen.
I actually like that this is gonna be the last episode of the season. I feel like that's kind of fitting.
It is. It's cool.
And then I'm trying to line up some crazy guests for next one.
Crazy.
I've got a few in mind that I want to do, and then I have one guest where I'm like, it's so out there. Where I'm like, I don't know. It's in the realm of possibility, but it's so out there that I'm like, I don't know.
You never know. I don't know. This is what I learned. If you just don't shoot your name out there and try, say, hey, will you do it? They won't do it.
I mean, I usually, anybody who is interesting, I usually ask.
Yeah.
So
I've actually done some podcasting myself for a while, off and on, doing this like comic book podcast because I really enjoy comic books and stuff. And the only like claim to fame I can low key brag about is one day last year, actually, yeah. I was reading this one comics like Wonder Woman book and really liked it. And like after the book was over, I like me and my buddy were like on Twitter just like talking about like, oh, this book's awesome. Was he like just a show with me at the time? And we like, you know, tagged the writer and then the writer responded back and he's like, yo, thank you guys. And we're like, awesome, cool. And so I just like fire off in a tweet and I was like, all right, cool. You want to be on our show in like a couple months? You're welcome to. And my buddy's like, he's not gonna respond. I was like, yeah, you're right. And then the dude was like, all right, cool. Hit me up in March. And I was like, sick. So we get on FaceTime with this dude and the guy is like, yeah, he's written like Wonder Woman. He wrote like an issue of a book called Doom Patrol. But he's also partners with somebody who worked on comic books with, if you're familiar with the band like My Chemical Romance, the lead singer Gerard Way. Like they're like buddies with him. So it's like the whole like 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. So we do this episode and like my buddy was like, look, we are not talking about Gerard Way. We're not becoming MCR fanboys. We're not going to talk about it. And he's like, all right, cool, got it. So we get on the episode with him and we're talking about, you know, just comic books and their writing and how long they've been doing the comic thing. And it's really cool. We're doing this whole like FaceTime conversation, like talking to them in FaceTime. It was sick. And we're doing all this. And at some point they bring it up. They start talking about Gerard Way and like the music and stuff. And that was crazy. And we did like a whole like hour and a half interview with the two of them. And after that interview was recorded, we still talked another 20 minutes about life with them, which was sick. And then after that, I also found out that the guy who was like writing now, back when he was younger, had a band himself and had a background in like DIY hardcore. So there was an element for me of like, oh, by the way, I've actually listened to your band. Your band's really sick. So he's actually follows Backyard, which is crazy. Like he will like posts from in your backyard, which I freak out occasionally that like, oh, I have a writer of DC Comics just casually like good job, man, or like send me a text sometimes. I had a rough day a couple weeks ago and the dude was like talking about this one comic book and he was like, oh, you should read The In Call. I'm like, well, I have read it. I just sold my copy because of some money reasons. And the dude was like, all right, that's cool, give me your address. And I was like, excuse me? And he was like, you've been a good man, good dude to me, buddy. Yeah, I'll ship you a book for free, don't worry about it. And just shipped me a book with his like, you know, his personal information, gave me his cell phone.
Holy shit.
And like I'm not gonna talk about all that because it's, you know, personal there, but yeah, he's like just a buddy of mine that like I know just from shooting the shot off Twitter, being like, let's see if that guy will even talk to me. And that was most really encouraging. Just like, oh, cool, this guy actually cares. And like, you know, we'll chat every so often about, you know, comic books and, you know, movies or like, hey, he drops like, you know, drop art for some project he's working on. I'm like, oh, that's really sick, by the way. You should check, you know, I really like what you've done there. But that's one of the cool experiences of just my life and whatnot, because I've done a lot of interesting things over the years. So.
Jesus Christ! Yeah, sounds like you have done a lot. Huh?
Yeah, I've stayed in castles for a week. I don't know. I've gone to so many shows, seen bands where you're like, you've seen that band, and I'm like, yeah. One of my favorite ones recently was I snuck into the MCR arena floor pit because I had friends and connections, and just basically wandered through the whole arena with my buddy Hootie, and we literally got to the floor because we had connections and passes, and snuck our way down to the floor without having to pay the floor ticket prices. That happened. When I was a kid, I ordered Japanese from Domino's. That's a thing that happened. So, because that was like before DoorDash, so it was like kind of an impressive skill. Yeah, no, I've done a lot of like weird, crazy things, and like even backyard, there's sometimes where I get away with something. Like, how did I get away with that? How did I get past that? How did I, you know? So the page is like impressive because I am really not aware of like, holy shit, people really look at this thing, like they care, like they know who I am, or like. I started hanging out with Boone a lot this fall, and I'll come up, so I'm like, oh, what's up in the Dantichrist? I'm like, holy shit, the Dantichrist is here. And they're like, or they'll be out of the bar, I'm like, yo, can I buy you a drink? I'm like, yeah, sure, buy me a drink. And like the Feldspar guys will just love me to death, and I hang out with them sometimes, or I'll talk shit to their band and make jokes. I'm not going to promote them anymore if they don't do this. And of course, I'm kidding because they're great. I love those dudes. But yeah, 3 years or so, this whole project and stuff. Sounds insane.
Like you've been on an adventure just doing all this shit.
There's been weeks.
It's definitely a wild tale.
It's wild. There's weeks I just live out a backpack and crash on couches half the time. And I don't know. I love it. Like, I enjoy this, like, my family's like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm going to go to so-and-so show in Raleigh and then so-and-so show in Greensboro. Then maybe I'll wind up at so-and-so's here. Then, I don't know, I'll be back for work on Monday. All right, cool. Awesome. Then they're just used to it at this point. Like, I think the only time they were weirded out was when the pandemic happened. There's just nothing to do. But, like, that's just what I do when I'm not, like, doing nothing. When I'm doing nothing, I'm just going to movies and seeing movies of some sort because, like, I do something when there's something else to do.
Any good movies you've seen recently?
Let's see. The past 24 hours in the Dingo Den, I've been watching Godzilla movies.
Which ones?
Oh, shit. Man, there's a whole list here. It's been, like, I'm just pulling up Letterboxd, yeah, because I'm a nerd who uses Letterboxd to calculate how many movies I watch.
No, I secretly write stuff. I secretly write.
My movie reviews are never like that entertaining. I think they're just.
I just write them to remember what movies I've watched.
Yeah, that's also why I've been using it a lot. Let's see. How many Godzilla movies in the past?
Oh, y'all on Letterboxd?
Yeah, I was talking about Letterboxd. It was like, haven't you seen any good movies lately? And I'm like, yeah, I'm just watching Godzilla. So I watched Son of Godzilla, Ghidorah, the three-other monster. I knew I was going to say it wrong and think I was going to correct. I was hoping to get to it before you came back in. All Monsters Attack, Godzilla Raids again, Godzilla vs. Gigan. Is that one right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Gigan. Okay. You said
yeah, awesome. The crab lobster thing.
Ebra.
Yeah, Ebra. That's it. And Godzilla vs. Hedorah.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so it's only one word I can't pronounce. Sweet. That means I can still live here probably, or hang out here. I don't know. And
that might have been strike one.
Yeah, that might be strike one. So.
I mean, you're not sleeping here tonight already, so.
I mean, you're not either.
Yeah, I know.
We're sleeping on the streets. Actually, it's an expedition.
But
Oh yeah, and Bullet Train. I watched that recently. That's probably the most newest movie I saw.
Oh, that's the one with Leonardo DiCaprio, right?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Same person.
Yeah, I mean, basically to a degree.
I just know it came on Netflix like today.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It came out on Netflix today, and I'm gonna go watch it when I get back.
I enjoyed it.
When I'm done recording this.
I had a good time with Bullet Train.
It's one of the only movie trailers where I'm like, you know what? I want to go watch that. That looks good. And I've heard it is good.
It's definitely like, I wouldn't say like, oh man, it's just gonna be on the Criterion Channel one day. Nah, it's just really fun, just dumb fun. I like watched it after a shift at work because the only cool thing about the town I come from is they have a second run cheapo theater. Mm-hmm. So I watch a lot of movies for like $4. So like a couple weeks ago after a Boone weekend, actually, I came back there and spent $4 to go see Godfather, which was pretty insane because it was cool to watch this on a giant big screen because it's like in theater it's been around since the 20s. So that was cool and the whole experience
That's a
there.
good movie I need to watch.
Yeah, I mean it was good. I enjoyed it.
I'm such a fucking nerd, like typical movie nerd when it comes to movies. It's like, yeah, Mason, what movie did you go to watch? The new Marvel one.
Yeah,
and every time I go watch a new Marvel movie, I'm embarrassed. I'm like, should I have went to go watch that? I enjoy it, but like it's one of those things where it's like you can't only watch those movies. You have to actually watch good movies every now and then. But,
I watched the last Marvel movie I saw in theaters was Love and Thunder.
Oh, I think the most recent one I saw was the new Black Panther.
Yeah,
that one's actually. I was surprised. It's actually, I think it's better than the first one.
So I was never a big I appreciate Black Panther films for like, directing and all of it, but I don't care about those characters and whatnot. So I think Marvel movies I'm excited about, like the Guardians 3 I'm excited about. But I also
Still haven't seen the trailer for it.
Oh, it's so great. But also like I just love James Gunn. So
he's doing all the new DC stuff.
Yeah, which is crazy for me.
He's going to be like the Kevin Feige of DC.
Which
maybe they'll actually make good movies.
I don't know. I've enjoyed a lot of their stuff, but I also like enjoy mid-quality things sometimes. So, like Guardians 3 looks really fun. I really love the Ant-Man movies a lot. People seem to bash on those. Yeah,
Ant-Man. I just like Paul Rudd.
Yeah, exactly. Ant-Man movies, I've always made the joke, are these Santa Claus movies of the MCU, and everyone's like, it makes sense. Think about the concepts. It's the same concept but with superpowers.
Yeah.
And there's also Bill Murray in the new one, which is making me more excited about it. Yeah, because I love Bill Murray. But
I want to go watch the new Knives Out movie.
That looks fun.
Glass Onion.
Yeah.
Because the first Knives Out is probably one of my favorite movies.
That's a solid movie. I've not seen it since theaters, so I almost want to go back and rewatch it, honestly.
I'm a nerd. I bought it on Blu-ray.
Hell yeah, you got the 4K yet though?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're that guy.
Of course I do.
I have a friend who's the 4K
freak.
guy.
Any movie that is even if I go to watch a movie in theaters and if it's even slightly interesting, I'll buy the Blu-ray for it. Like I went to go watch the new Jackass, and like when the credits were rolling, I bought like a 7 DVD collection of all of the Jackass movies.
Yeah, I watched the first Jackass at your actual famous house.
Yep.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a cool experience.
I haven't watched them in forever because they used to all be on Netflix, and I don't know if they are anymore.
I think it's on Paramount Plus now or something.
I'm not fucking.
To be honest, I'm
not subscribing to Paramount Plus.
My family has Paramount Plus, but they're also like Gen X boomers or whatever who watch like every white style crime show that's made for 40-year-olds. So I just get back and they tell me about the new episode in CIS for the hour, and I'm like, that's awesome, Mom. I don't care. And then they complain about the writing, and then I'm like, Mom, you're watching shows made for your demographic. They're not gonna be great.
That's what the writing's not that good.
Then I recommend like an HBO thing. Like, there's too much language and sex. I'm like, all right, well.
You're not gonna really find anything else.
I'm like,
it's like
I don't know what you want me to tell you, Ma. Like, cool. So anyway, yeah, CSI, and they're like, yeah, so this happens. And I was like, all right, cool.
Awesome. The same thing happened like 40 episodes
And they're like, they
ago.
rebooted the CSI show recently, and I was curious how the writing was going to go, just because I grew up hearing that show. That was how my family
Yeah, what's in
explained
the CSI lore?
Oh man, there's 3 or 4 different shows, I think, because I grew up watching a lot of them. That's how my family explained the world to me, was CSI. That's an interesting way to live, by the way. The amount of stuff I learned from CSI that was just like, Mom, that's kind of messed up. Yeah, but that's how the world is, son, and that's how I learned.
And then you were just complaining about like there's too much sex and language. Like,
Yeah,
oh.
Mom, but like, yeah, it's different then. I'm like, oh, okay, Ma, like it's neat, but.
I know I've tried to recommend so many shows to like my mom that are on like Netflix or something. I'm like, yeah, you should watch like what is it like it's called like The Midnight Club or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should watch this show, and then she's like, no, I don't. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I'm like, well, you wanted me to tell you a good show.
Well, the other day my mom's like loves cooking, and I was like, oh, you should watch The Bear. It's so good. And then I was like,
That's
oh
another show I need to
wait,
watch.
there's lots of language, and they're
What
from
is The
Chicago.
Bear on? Is it on
So The Bear's on
HBO?
Hulu. I want to believe that show is set in the same universe as Shameless, because it obviously is the same main guy, Lip, who's now, I forget his actual name of that show.
I thought you were gonna say the same universe as Chef.
I mean, that'd be cool, but I haven't seen Chef, so I can't
I
really.
haven't seen Chef.
Yeah, then we're both
I know
liars
I
here.
know the whole meme about have you seen Chef? But like I've never seen Chef. I've heard it is a good movie, but I don't know if I could ever watch it with a straight face because of the meme.
That's fair.
The meme from like 6 years ago.
You ever watch a movie and you're like, they quote a line from a famous thing, you kind of do like Leonardo DiCaprio point things. That's what I do a lot sometimes. Like half a Godfather consists of me being like, oh, that's what that random old guy this one hangout was talking about. Awesome.
I was showing my roommate Django Unchained recently.
I've not seen that actually.
It is.
It's one of the
really
ones
good.
I've not seen of his movies.
It's I always feel bad telling people because I feel like it's a taboo to say that you like Quentin Tarantino movies because he's such a weird guy.
It's a weird dude, but like
He's a
there's
weird dude. Lots of feet in his movies.
So much feet.
A lot of feet. But I was showing him Django Unchained, and like every 5 seconds, he's like, "Oh, that's where that's from," because he saw like a GIF or something.
Yeah, it's like my home comic shop I've been going to since I was a wee lad. One of the managers will quote Godfather all the time, and I've probably heard him quote Godfather multiple times. And I watched Godfather, my brain was like, "Oh, that's what he means when." Okay. Wow.
It happens to me all the time when I go back and watch older movies.
Yeah, I also like just watch random old movies or niche movies. Like this is Tetsu the Iron Man. It's like an old.
I've heard of that.
That movie is awesome.
And then I also see that Animal House over there.
I've not seen that.
I've heard that's good.
I mean, I eventually will watch it because I do like Belushi, and I feel like I should probably watch some more comedies from the 70s so I can, be that weird old guy who can quote 70s
Like
movies.
Blazing Saddles or something.
I've not seen Blazing Saddles.
I haven't either.
It's not from like there's that whole element of the movie. It's just not. This is actually a movie podcast, by the way. We're not talking about music now.
Yeah,
This is-
BoonePod is switching from...
In Your Backyard's
now
actually
it's-
coming
now
to
it's-
cinema.
Now it's a music podcast.
It's a music and it's cinema project. Sorry guys, Backyard has been at live this whole time. Psych.
It's like psych, guys. I just want to talk about movies.
Yeah, this is supposed to be the longest episode, so like I'm just filling in time.
We're at 45 minutes so far.
Oh man, this is going.
If you really want this to be the longest episode, we got a little bit to go here.
I'm just going to. I think Dingo's like, come on, like leave already. But Dingo hasn't said anything, so.
We'll keep recording.
You're right.
keep,
Yeah, you're right. It's that
We'll
day.
keep recording until they tell us to stop.
Yeah. Thank you, Nate, for my really bad thing there that happened a second ago. But
Yeah,
I might die tonight actually after this recording's done. You don't know.
This might be the last recorded evidence of
The
Dantichrist.
It's Dantichrist, actually.
Dantichrist?
Yeah, so
Okay.
people, that's another thing, is people take the name and they think Dantichrist, or it's like Dantichrist, and I have to like basically say it's Antichrist, add a D. We pronounce it Dantichrist.
But
And
Dantichrist just sounds like an Italian last name.
Which
If
is
you
fine
say
with me.
Dantichrist, then it's like, oh.
well, there's also that with like people do that. I've noticed the reaction being more like, whoa. One time I heard about people at a show. I wasn't at the show, some show in Charlotte, and these two kids were arguing about the proper pronunciation of my name, which was hilarious to find out later. That each one was like, it's this way or that way, and the one guy was trying to call it was Dante Christ, and I was like, that's
Dantichrist.
that's not it. That's not anything. It's like there's variations of Dan in general. A lot of my friends have different names for Dan for different codes. There's a party one that's only used of called Cowboy Dan, which is just Dan where he drinks a lot and probably wears a cowboy hat. And probably doesn't wear a shirt at some point because that's what happens sometimes at parties. It's only when people bring me whiskey. If you're
the different personas.
There's different personas. Like I can use different ones for different elements. People know what those means. You know, the big ones are obviously being Dantichrist. There's also of like I'm drunk enough at a party where I start going, I'm the goddamn Dantichrist. I'm not sure if that was too far of cursing here. I don't know.
No, it's fine.
I just kind of say things and I'm like,
it's like I told Dingo. I don't care if you curse as long as it's not like something bad.
I mean, I'm not saying crazy bad. I might start using like Scottish slang on you or something, and you're like, "What is he saying?" But like,
we should do the rest of the podcast in like Chinese, in Mandarin.
My father wanted to learn Mandarin at one point. Yeah, I wish I knew Mandarin. I feel like I would slur words by accident, and like your Mandarin listeners would actually be upset with me. I'm not trying to.
Well, Mandarin, yeah, all of my zero Mandarin.
So far, you don't know.
Who knows? I may have one guy in China.
Maybe one guy in China's gonna go back, listen to this episode a year from now, and be like, "That guy, put a hit on him."
I was talking about that with someone else. I'm like, what if I just had one guy in like Taiwan who is like really
sick,
big into it? Would be sick. But can you imagine just secretly I have a massive fan base in like Taiwan?
So there's a band out of Chapel Hill that I'm friends with named Happiness Jones. There's been a lot of that to this episode. Me just dropping local bands. It's like a giant shout out episode. It's great. But apparently they're looking at their Spotify.
For me to have on.
I mean, you could. Happiness Jones is a great human being. Not in Boone though. So if you want to expand, I'm not in Boone. I'm not sure what I am, honestly.
Yeah, but you're in Boone.
I'm an entity. I think I'm in Boone this weekend.
That's the main thing. That's true. You're in Boone while we're recording.
Or maybe I'm not.
Maybe you're a hologram.
I was never real. God is dead.
The Dantichrist was a social experiment. Thank you for participating.
And then bang, headshots.
And then you just disappear.
I mean,
you just come out, you're like, "Hi guys, my name's John Mayfield," or something. I'm actually a cattle farmer from Wisconsin.
I ride a motorcycle. I just really like Terminator 2. That's all that's about. So
I've never seen any of the Terminator movies.
I just like Terminator 2, but it's also because I got this really weird obsession watching the, the kid from Terminator 2. Mm-hmm. I got this weird obsession of watching the guy's catalog in movies. He's got some really not great movies, and not because it's a bad movie by like the content.
It's just not good.
It's just not good. But also like
that's how it is with like Hayden Christensen.
Oh man,
like he's really only good in Star Wars.
I mean, I liked him in Kenobi a lot, which was cool.
I'm assuming
you like Kenobi? You did?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Star Wars.
I mean, yes, I know it's Star Wars, but like, Nate, do you want me on here too? You want the Nate Dogg segment? Where you talk about,
I'm telling you, we get you over here and
we have the
here.
NFL facts about sports.
The NFL facts about sports.
Bro,
I don't know anything about sports.
Like no sports. Like I was like asking about the Dolphins because I'm a massive Dolphins fan. And I was like, "Yo, how are they gonna do this Sunday?" And then dude over here is just pulling up like the stats and speculations and like possible.
How's Tom Brady gonna do?
Exactly how you expect Tom Brady's gonna do.
So he's gonna kiss his son. All right.
Whoa. Crazy, but yeah.
Don't do that anymore. I think in public.
That's my favorite thing about Tom Brady is that he kisses his son.
I remember that part of the episode last time. Was it AmericanDingo episode that's referenced in? Mm. Yes, because I study the BoonePod the whole time. I've been waiting for this episode.
Yeah, you're secretly just writing. You just have like a massive list of notes.
I actually had been. I was like working on like notes, like okay, topics, these things.
You see,
I wrote a list of shout outs actually.
You're doing better than me. Oh, you have shout outs?
I list out shout outs.
You're going to be the first person I've ever interviewed that has their shout outs prepared.
I was like sitting on this couch earlier. I was like, I need to come up with shout outs. And I was like, what type of like actual people I care about? And I was like, do I do the like Grammy thing where I think like my mom,
some people,
my dad,
yeah,
Jesus
some people
Christ.
shout out their moms, their dads. I think somebody shouted out like their McDonald's order or something.
Ooh, sick. Which one's that on?
God, I don't know. It's one of them, I think.
When does the BoonePod Wikipedia come out? The BoonePedia?
Never.
Okay, darn.
I'll copyright. I'll DMCA it.
All right, shit. I was gonna edit for you.
BoonePod, trademarked, registered.
I need to do that with some stuff, honestly. So
I would, but it's like $300 or something.
It's like there's something I was gonna pitch at one point that required money, and I was like, yeah, never mind, we're not doing that idea. And I forgot what it was. It was a good idea, and I was just like,
BoonePod is the cheapest podcast. I haven't spent a dime.
It's also like a really nice logo. Mm-hmm. I really like the way it's set up. I like how your bumpers remind me of Adult Swim. I think I told you that on an episode.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the middle of deciding whether or not I want to fully switch to using the Adult Swim one I want. Because at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's a cool, like parody logo, but then I'm like, I don't know. Because I feel like the Adult Swim logo fits more the vibe of this than the other one I made. I like the other one I made, but I just feel like the Adult Swim maybe fits more.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know, I dig the aesthetic. The little video bumpers you post are really fun.
I'm just super extremely nostalgic for Adult Swim.
No,
like those bumpers and everything. That's like a big part.
Once I realized what you were doing, I was like, oh, I get this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And it was also fun to put backyard. I'm like, here you go, because it's like backyard content in general is all now just NC hardcore and whatever pops in my head that revolves the music scene. And you know, my buddies posting like today was like you probably saw like this flyers because Saturdays and Fridays are mainly just show flat posting days.
I do think for the bumpers, maybe I want to start using the music of people I interview, but I feel like that'd be a little harder to source.
I mean, the Ghost you should get. You should get the Ghost soundtrack. I think you should get that one recorded. That'd be good.
Okay.
I think that'd be a solid one.
I mean, most of the time I just use.
I don't know where the money will go towards, you know, streaming wise.
I just
maybe
use,
this place. Actually.
Yeah, maybe for the bumpers, I mostly just use whatever music I can think of because I think except for like one, I always use drum and bass because I am a whore for drum and bass. I love it.
So younger days of backyard consisted of me rocking a Skrillex haircut, which was pretty recognizable. Not gonna lie, when you go to a show, it's like, oh, it's that guy because no one else is rocking that look. Actually,
I don't think anyone else would want to rock a Skrillex look.
It started as a joke. There's a lot of things I do that start
and
as jokes.
And then you just kept it?
And I just kept it, and then people started saying I was like a weird, like, background Japanese martial arts character or something, and I was like, that's cool, and a buddy in JCDR, a kid named Jughead, actually at one point messaged me. I was like, can I have your haircut? Like, can I, like, use it now once you're not using it now? And I was like, yeah, sure, man, whatever.
I mean, it's a haircut. You can't really...
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I appreciate not having that with, like, hardcore, because hardcore shows get crazy, and not having so much hair in your face is kind of nice, honestly. I enjoy just having the shaved head most of the time. It's actually growing out right now, but
I like mine. I'm full stark bald.
I mean, I identify as like a sharp skinhead, so you know, you kind of keep the head shaved most of the time now, but it's also way too fucking cold, so I'm kind of like keeping it a little low so I'm not so freezing my head up.
Yeah, just enough so you
because like, yeah, being a skinhead's cool and all, but then you have to worry about, oh yeah, keeping the head shaved, and then
having a shaved head is awesome.
That's awesome. Until
like being able to wake up in the morning and I have to deal with your hair.
Dude, the shower process is like, what, 4 minutes?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, take a shower quick. I'm like, excuse me, let's do my head real quick.
Yeah.
Wash the rest of my body.
It's so easy, dude.
I enjoy it. But like, even this is not bad. I used to be like, oh, wait, I do have hair here.
A little bit. I will say shampoo costs.
Yeah.
Completely down to zero.
And of course, also, so my sister is a hairstylist. So there was the element of like, yo, you got any of this free sample shit I can borrow real quick and use that for, you know, type of episode stuff. So hair
I just
stuff.
realized now that people know I'm bald, maybe they'll recognize me at shows.
Maybe you go to shows? What was the last show you went to?
No, the last show I went to was a Felspar and Sloth one in like September.
Okay.
Was
that the...
It was the one in Legends.
Battle Bands? No, Legends one. Okay, I saw the clips of that one. So it was coming, I think, the week after that. Yeah, they played... That was the show they went and played. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll promote it.
That show is what made me want to get into doing this podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I saw that, I'm like, oh, there's so many cool people doing so much cool stuff in Boone. I'm like, I just want to talk to him.
Boone is on a really interesting streak right now. I was very not sure about Boone for the longest time because of other groups that won't be named. But recently, in the past couple months, because I was hanging out Boone and some stuff, I've noticed the rise of, like, you know, hardcore in general is like a really big thing right now. I'm not sure
there's like a big new generation.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got into hardcore this year, and it consumed, like, that's all I go to. It's all I meet a lot of my friends. A lot of the dudes I hang out with now are all because we met at hardcore shows. And I mean, hardcore is like just part of my life now, which is wild because I was for the longest time like not sure about it. And now it's like, oh, cool, so and so show. You're going to your buddy's show, or you know, a black guy from your buddy next week, and then you're like, your parents are like, why are you a black guy? I'm like, oh, so and so punched my mom. Don't worry about it. They're all good dudes. That was really funny that happened this year. But yeah, like hardcore is just a massive thing. But like Boone was like, honestly, Boone had those like King Gizzard bands. That was cool. And then sometime this summer, I noticed the trend that they were starting to like gear up like a harder sound, and I was like, what's happening? And then Jake was like, oh yeah, I'm starting a band with Eli from Felspar. Shout out Felspar. And they're like, cool, we're called Stomped Out. I was like, all right, sick. And so I heard it. I was like, this is pretty good. I started getting the demos and stuff and little samples, and I was like, all right, this is cool. And then like that happened. And then,
yeah, make sure to support all your local bands on Bandcamp.
You should, and Bandcamp.
Buy their music.
Or Noise Trade, or wherever the frick. I don't know.
They won't be able to tell, but I do buy all of their music.
I do, or I steal it.
Who was it that put out a new EP like a few days ago? Was it Sloth, maybe?
Sloth bought an EP yesterday, actually.
Yes, okay, yeah, that's what I bought.
Which I need to go buy personally, but I also will just buy those boys beer, probably, and just be like, here, I couldn't buy the EP, but I buy you some beer, so we'll just call it
Here's
even.
Some Pabst, bro.
I mean, look, the amount of people I drink at that place, the Vamp Banner and the beer is insane. But yeah, so yeah, the music scene for around here has gone crazy. Like watching Boone develop from like, oh cool, we do psychedelic rock to oh cool, we're trying to do hardcore. It's been really fun for me, and partially why I come up here a lot. So there's a lot of shows going on, or I'm hanging out because they want me to show up and do stuff like this, or But no, Boone's on an interesting rise right now, and like that, and they're all country and hardcore. It's insane. Like Turnstile's playing sold out shows, and I don't know. Music's
every
cool.
local show is always
It's
sold
getting crazy, and it's awesome.
It is.
And it's also like people are getting inspired by what they're seeing on the stage. And I can do that too.
That's probably like one of the biggest reasons why I want to do this, because Boone is having like such a
revival,
meteoric rise
Yeah.
right now in their music culture, and I kind of, I guess, document it, by having the people that are part of it.
And I think I love that stuff. Like one of my best friends, Hootie, like their big thing is they got inspired by a lot of the '80s hardcore bands, and they're trying to document the same thing. We actually have a project called Another Year Collective, which is a hardcore podcast that's basically based out of various spots of NC. But a lot of us were just friends at shows and whatnot. And Hootie had already started a project, and that kind of went one way, and then he revamped it this Another Year thing. Where now we have like an episode out at this moment with Mike Morocco from Rapid Fire. And that's talking about their band's success. They've just dropped some singles you probably saw on Bandcamp. Not Bandcamp, but Bandcamp too, but what's it called? Backyard, the page I actually run. And, that was cool. So yeah, that's a lot of things. I think it's sick that people are trying to document what's going on. And even like looking at Backyard now is crazy. Because I'll look back at like, a couple of years back and be like, oh crap, I promoted that band and this show and that one happened. And whoa, I've been doing this for a while and I forget how like crazy a lot of this is.
Oh, yeah.
Especially just looking back years and stuff, and like I have a set list in my pocket from Stomped Out show the other day that I'll probably throw in my like box of the set list and things, because I'm trying to like keep records of ones. I have the flyer for the show that started the page. I need to get framed, honestly, because that's kind of, this means a lot to me.
I'm the same way. I keep everything for BoonePod.
Oh, that's sick.
But I don't make anything physical for BoonePod. I just
there's stickers across Boone a little bit for Backyard, and I eventually want to do some new ones. Jake, who I'll probably mention the 20th million time, also was one of the disciples, because I jokingly have called my buddies disciples with the Dantichrist name, and they've planted stickers at random spots and different things. I know there's one or two downtown you can actually
I did
find.
that too.
Yeah?
I don't know. Did you see the reel that I made for the Trailhead episode?
I think I might have seen
Trailhead,
I saw it, but I don't know if I saw it closely.
When I was recording with Trailhead, after we got done recording, they gave me a few stickers, and I'm like, I'm going to do the very Boone thing to do. Just go put them somewhere.
It's so much
so
fun.
I did put the in the reel. I did say that I did put the Trailhead stickers somewhere.
That's cool.
I won't say where, but I did put them somewhere.
I enjoy
them
sticker slapping like that. Like Feldspar I've done before. I'm like, yo, here's like $3. Give me as many stickers you feel like you can give me. And they're like, okay. And then I'll just start going at bars and shit. Fuck it, put that there, put this one there, or like, maybe I'll just take a Sharpie out and like write
I
some
love finding
stuff.
all the little hidden stickers that people place
Ooh,
too.
those are good too.
But, all of the really cool ones that are just, you can always tell what the super big popular bands are, because if you just walk around Boone or even App State Campus, you're going to see a ton of like Weasel stickers.
Weasels are sweet people.
I have not talked to them.
I'm buddies with Jack,
I wanna have them
their
on.
lead singer, but also because Jack is in Slough, and naturally I was going to meet them eventually.
Every person in every band is in like 15.
Yeah, exactly. I've noticed that.
bands.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm playing this band. Like, what's your actual band? Oh, this band. And I'm like, okay, cool.
There's it's like some band I've tried to get it on some bands. I'm like, oh yeah, they share like nearly half of their members with the other band that I had on.
It's insane. Like
I had Trailhead on, and one of their guys.
They're fairly new, aren't they?
Trailhead is pretty new.
I noticed in you. I was like, I'm not familiar with these ones. So
they're very new. Surprisingly, one of the most popular episodes I've put out.
Interesting.
And,
That's cool.
One of their guys is not Trailhead. Gaining Composure. One of the dudes in Gaining Composure is also in a band called Soulstalgia.
Okay, and there's also one in Trout About, which is also, we're in the Trout About den, I guess.
Every band in Boone shares members.
And then I somehow know one of them in each one. It's kind of hilarious at this point. Like, at this point, I feel bad because I only go to like orange people's shows. I'm like, we're all going to be the same show. Why do I have to go to your show and we don't hang out?
I do need to go to more shows.
You should.
I need to go to more shows. But I don't know if I'd go as BoonePod. Like, I don't know if I went to like, hey, I'm the guy who runs BoonePod.
So I like to, now granted you met me tonight where I'm rocking a Dantichrist like jacket on me. But before the jacket was made, I was a buddy of mine who made it actually. I got my name Evan the Loser. But yeah, I just will not always like tell who I was. Unless people recognize me because the hair. But like, I enjoy not telling people and just like casually talking to people and then kind of being like, oh, what's up? Also, I'm the Backyard guy. And be like, oh shit, you're the backyard guy, which is still fun. But like, I get that. Like, you don't have to like always put your face like, oh, I'm that dude. If you have to recognize you, awesome. But if you like don't want to be seen, I totally.
I think people could recognize me maybe by my voice.
The voice is solid. But yeah, it would also be like, I would have to be like in a crowd if I didn't realize I'm like, wait, so I've recognized his voice, and then look up like, oh, are you that guy? But
That's why I never show my face.
for fun. Funny enough,
Maybe in the video. It's
the
coming
video
out.
series,
Maybe.
Mm.
I don't know if I'd ever do video because I know I did like heavily debate in my mind. I'm like, should I do a video podcast? And eventually I decided, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. Because it's not even that I don't want to. When I was deciding that, it's like it's not even that I don't want to show my face. It's that it would be a lot more work on my end to do video. Like even the video that I have coming out, it'll come out the same day as this episode, which will probably be Monday.
Oh shoot, this is the Monday episode. Nice.
So that video took me forever to edit the first half because I had to. It's not even something that's super hard. It's just something that's annoying. Is I had to sync the audio between. Because I was recording, we were recording on a camera, and then I also was recording the audio on a separate
your
mic.
phone, yeah.
No, I wasn't recording on my phone.
Okay.
I was recording on. So the people that helped me film it, BooneCast helped me film the video.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm like, they do video. I'll ask them if they can help me, and they ever so graciously helped me out. And I was going to record that with this mic that I'm using now.
Okay.
We hit record on the camera. This died because this runs on AA batteries, by the way.
That's so sweet.
It's really nice. The audio from this is very crisp and nice.
But I'm noticed that. I'm not realizing this is what you've been recording on.
No, this is what I've been recording. Good. This is not what I've been recording.
It's not. Okay.
So when I record, usually in the audio recording room,
that's right.
I record with a Shure SM7B.
Gotcha.
One of my favorite mics of all time.
Awesome.
Because it is people that are listening. Shut up. It's the same mic that Michael Jackson used to record Thriller. Is the Shure SM7B.
So one of the guys in JCDR has a microphone, and any chance they have to talk about this, they will freaking talk about.
I could talk about audio.
But no, their microphone is from a band called Emery, and they bought it off an auction of theirs, and any chance they have to freak out with the fact they're like, I have this microphone from this band called Emery. Come on, I'm so cool. It's awesome, but like the other day we were talking about mic equipment and how I need to buy some for some backyard projects and other things, and they were once again be like, yo, I have the Emery mic, you could borrow it. And I was like, chill out, man. Like, I mean, it's cool. I love it, though. Shout out Nat. That's great. So,
but, yeah, at the same time, I do record, like, 90% of the episodes on the Shure SM7B.
Okay.
And then
the
episode with Natalie Capes, I was ever so graciously allowed to record in the App State Music Recording Room.
That looks pretty. I saw those photos.
Which, that room is worth, like, $500,000, and I got to record with very, very nice audio equipment in there.
Damn,
that episode sounds especially.
I need to go back and listen to that one because I've not.
That episode, so Natalie, it's like the way she described it to me is you're not allowed to touch any of the equipment in the room unless you've taken 2 classes.
Wow,
you have to take 2 classes in the music center to even know before they'll let you touch the audio equipment.
Okay.
So I was asking her, I'm like, do you need me to help you set up any of this audio equipment? Because she was like plugging in cables here and there, setting up the mics. She completely ran the audio operation on that episode because I'm like, this is.
Yeah, I saw those photos and I was like, is this where
it is?
He records all the time? I don't know.
She did actually invite me to record in that room ever again. So what I'm thinking is that if I ever record with a band that's pretty large, like 4 or 5 people, I would probably record.
That'd be really cool.
She just said to hit her up whenever I want to record in that room again. So maybe some episodes that will
do the BoonePod live at BoonePod EP. That's what you should do. Let's get a band in there. Because there's a couple podcasts that really do those type of EPs where it's like, oh, we did record it
There
live.
is. So one of the major inspirations for this podcast was a guy who ran a podcast called Fall Risk.
I remember Fall Risk.
And he's a really cool dude. I want to have him on at some point.
Yeah, I know Fall Risk.
He did a lot of that stuff where he would record bands.
Yeah.
And have their episodes. And I don't know, maybe I would toy with the idea of doing that. But at the same time, I feel like if I did do that, I would feel bad for ripping off his brand.
I'm sure I remember Fall Risk being a thing because this is how long I've been hanging out in the music scene. There's certain names.
He's cool.
I was on Discord server at one point with him and some other people, which was funny when it was like, oh wait, are you the? I'm like, yeah, what's up? I'm the dude. Like,
I'm the guy.
I'm the guy, which is so much fun. Like, I enjoy that element of like, holy, yeah, it's great. And I keep saying it's just funny to me watching people be like, holy shit, he's here. I'm like, nah. What's up?
I feel like if people ever saw what I look like, because all the people I have on the podcast are like people that are really big into the music scene. Like, people were in the hardcore scene of Boone, and then I just look like any other App State student.
I don't know, like, at the same time, I've seen dudes who look like you at hardcore shows or, like, the biggest fans of the music, and I go, awesome. Like, at this point, like, the whole thing of hardcore is cool. Is, like, no one really judges anyone for how they look or how they act or, okay, that guy's jacked as hell, but, like, this dude's a scrawny little dude. Like, I know people who, they kick ass, and I'm scared of them, and they might not look like the scariest dude. Like, there's a buddy of mine named Angel who, like, fastest two-stepper in the freaking NC. Like, also part of JCDR. We have a lot of members, as you can see. But yeah, Angel is, like, insane. Like, he's just guy who drives a dump truck and literally is, like, the fastest two-stepper and will grab mic and do some crazy flips sometimes. And you're like, what is going on? Like, he doesn't seem like the guy, but, like, he's that dude. Like, that's what's cool about music cultures. You don't have to look the crazy park of, like, you know, a guy from the Sex Pistols, so you can just wear some jeans and some Converse and your local ASU hat or whatever you guys call yourselves up here. I don't know. Is ASU, is that it? Appies? I don't freaking know. I don't fucking know what you guys call each other.
The
Mountaineers, is that it?
Mountaineers,
I don't know.
yeah.
This isn't my college. I never went to college.
But I get, yeah,
Went to Hogwarts.
because you were talking about it, and I was like blanking on the name. I'm like, what do people
Yeah,
from
like,
App
I
State
don't know.
call themselves? It's the Mountaineers.
I just call you
Then I
Boone
have a different.
Kids.
Then I have a different name for my fan base.
Oh, you have a fan base? That's cute.
I know.
This is what...
You have a fan base too? That's
I
awesome.
have a following, I guess. At one point, I was toying around the idea of calling the backyard fans backyardigans. And doing
You
a
might
whole...
get in legal trouble for that.
And I was like, well, maybe I do. But that's how I get big. It's just I get in trouble with Nickelodeon backyardigans. That'd be kind of sick.
I mean, I call.
Super Nickelodeon.
Imagine that's how I break out.
That's how the project ends.
Yeah.
Sued
One day,
by Nickelodeon.
my parents like, son, why are you doing in your backyard? I'm like, well, you know, Mom, Nickelodeon sued me, and that's why I'm still living at your house right now. Oh, okay. Great. Yeah.
I know. I call my fan base Booners.
Okay. Yeah, that's a solid name.
Because their parents are the Boomers. They're the Booners.
Nah, that makes perfect sense.
Also, I can't come up with anything else. So
I think most of the time it's
until they start like calling themselves by something, that's what I'm going to call them by.
Wouldn't you be more concerned if they like collectively as a hive mind start calling themselves something though? That'd be kind of scary, right?
I would love if my fan base was a hive mind. That would be
You
awesome.
say that until it gets bad.
Yeah. If I had a fan
I've seen
base
so many
like
movies
BTS
where I'm like,
or
that's
something.
yeah, BTS, BoonePod. I don't know.
BoonePodians.
Podians. It sounds almost like Scientology, I think,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I don't know about Scientology. I'm not Tom Cruise, so I think I'm taller than Tom Cruise. I'm pretty sure.
Are you on the Tom Cruise cake list?
I hate Tom Cruise actually. I
Hey,
can't.
do you know about the Tom Cruise cake list?
There's a cake list.
So Tom Cruise every year at the end of the year will send his closest friends the same kind of cake every year, and it's apparently it's like a pretty selective club of like celebrities, and apparently it's his way of trying to get them into Scientology.
Interesting. So
that is 100% true. You can look it up.
I have a
the
thing.
people that Tom Cruise sends a cake, he wants you to be in Scientology.
Interesting. So I have a better thing. I'm not sure we can get away with this if this is too far of content to be like we have to chop this out and if we have like a special Patreon chunk segment. I don't give out birthday cakes. I give out bottles of Popov.
What is that?
If you look behind us, there is a nasty little bottle of some Russian vodka. It's really cheap.
I thought this was some homemade drug.
No, and I wish it might as well be because half it's like not fully there. Anyway, so it started before a Feldspar show. Dingo and I were hanging out, and I was like, let's get vodka. I'm like, all right, cool. So I got them some vodka, and I decided because I thought it'd be funny because like the Dingo is it's quirked up and crazy and goofy and weird.
The Dingo.
The Dingo, and I thought it'd be funny to give him the shittiest vodka I know of, which is Popov, and not tell him it was shitty, and just see how they enjoyed it. So I got it for him. It's like, this is pretty
How was
bad.
it?
It's not good. Which started this whole bit for Jackson's like, that's crazy. This is bad. Why did you buy this? Like, I thought it'd be funny. So I got a decent sized bottle.
Is it expensive or
It's
is
like it was like $8.
okay,
$7-8.
So some of the cheapest shit.
Yeah, it was just commie. I thought it was funny because commies, why not? So that happened and it was cool and all. And then Nate here, who's just like casually chilling, minding their own business, had a birthday party and they were like, oh, Jackson's like, dude, birthday gift. And I was like, sweet. So I bought another bottle. And Nate, how did you feel about that? You can jump over here if you want for a second. Or
You're totally welcome to come on and just sit down and talk.
If you want your thoughts on this experience of Russian vodka.
I don't know. See, the thing is
I have no words.
It wasn't good.
I don't know how good the mic's gonna pick you up from over there.
Okay, in case you can't hear him, he's saying there's no words on how bad the experience was.
Have you tried the thing where you put vodka in like a water filter to make it taste better? Have you heard about that?
That's a thing.
Yeah,
So
I've heard about
okay,
that.
yeah.
Huh.
Maybe you can try that with Papaya.
I know the spot to do it in Boone, but we're not going to be location. But that might happen tonight, maybe. But so because this, it started this whole bit where I'm going to start every birthday party someone has here, buy them a bottle of Russian vodka. And I think currently I owe 3 people bottles of this stuff. And then one of my good buddies is turning another year old next month here, and gonna buy them a giant handle, I think, just to piss them off. So they aren't ready to know what this is. I think it'd be funny just be like, here you go. And
You should wrap it up so it looks like something completely different.
I should. Maybe I'll just like add some guitar strings or something to it because I do play guitar. That might be really cool.
Jesus, you are popular.
It's JCDR, man. JCDR will just talk my ear off. Shout out to JCDR. It's a whole 11 people group, you know, like one minute we're talking about, you know, jackets and whatever. Next we're talking about hardcore bands or like, you know.
You're talking about how to overthrow the United States.
It hasn't happened yet. Or it's everyone hates jobs. You know, it's all types of stuff. I mean, the other day we were in a Discord call, a bunch of us were, and we spent 20 minutes talking about Mountain Dew flavors we miss.
Let's get into that.
Yeah, okay. So
I want to get into
all right,
this
so
on
first
the
of all,
podcast.
one I missed that wasn't Mountain Dew was I, as a young lad, was a big fan of Pepsi Blue. I'm not sure if you're familiar, even know what that is. No. It was a late 2001, 2002 era Pepsi that was this blueberry themed.
Wait, how old are you?
You know, I'm kind of immortal, you know, with the Dantichrist name.
Okay.
We'll go with that, you know?
Okay.
Let's go to immortal.
But you were around.
I was around. I saw the towers fall, all right? So.
Okay, I did not. I was born after the towers fell.
Yeah, I know. I remember the towers, all right? Yeah, I was there next to Gerard.
Did you have something to do with that?
I can't say yes. I can't say no.
Legally, I cannot say anything.
I cannot talk about the tower situation.
Dude, oh my god, I just realized.
I was not the guy next to George Bush.
My friends are going to be so fucking mad at me because it's been like 5 episodes since I've talked about 9/11. And I swore.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, I swore that I wouldn't talk about 9/11 anymore. And of course, the last fucking episode of season 1. We bring up 9/11.
I want to believe the last episode here is just a correlation of all the other episodes and small references to build up to this one finale meaning of life about 9/11.
This is the end game.
Yes, exactly. After this episode, we're all going to fade away to dust. This is it. I'm sorry. It'll get recorded and posted.
Listen, I'm going to be the only one left.
Yeah.
I'm Thanos.
Yeah, crazy. The last thing you're here is be finger snapped, and that's it. I'll do my shout-outs.
You know, I do want to try to do something to make, because I know we're gonna have a little bit of background noise in this episode.
Yeah.
I am what I'm thinking about doing is I just want to put on like a fucking fireplace crackling in the background.
That's a good idea.
Because I had an idea. I know it'll never happen, but maybe if I keep doing this for long enough, I had an idea for a set that I want to do. And it's just a fireplace and then 2 like recliners right next to each other.
Ooh, that's good.
And I wanted to have that as a podcast set, but we'll see if that ever
That'll be good. But anyway, the soda conversation we were back to.
Back to Pepsi Blue.
Yeah, not 9/11. We'll never forget it, though, because it just won't end
Never
up.
forget.
Never forget. It's always part of this podcast. It's actually sponsored by
It is ingrained.
Yeah.
9/11 is a big part of this podcast.
I was actually in a contract to talk about it. BoonePod's not going to admit to the fact we were discussing.
I actually made him sign papers.
Yeah, lots of papers. I had to talk about 9/11 and make fun of my friends, but also love them to death. It was a lot of
It's a legal requirement.
Yeah, the blood sacrifice was crazy.
Now
right?
you're going to have to sign an NDA to never talk about this again.
Yeah, exactly. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who said that?
Anyways, back to the
Anyway, so the
Pepsi Blue.
Yeah, so Pepsi Blue. Yeah, so back in like early 2000s, there's this thing called Pepsi Blue, and for some reason, as a younger lad, I was obsessed with it. Thought it was the coolest thing, and for years,
did it taste like any?
It tastes like Pepsi, right? Like the Pepsi bubbly taste, but with blue and blueberry flavors.
Okay,
It's like a berry Pepsi, basically.
Okay.
And it was just a sick blue bottle. You know, it was awesome. And for years, I would get on my hands and knees and I would pray for it to come back and all types of stuff and sacrifice.
It hasn't happened yet.
And last year, it came back for a brief time, and my friends were like, "Look, I would make posts about on like social media about how much I miss Pepsi Blue," and be like, "What are you fucking talking about?" My buddy's like, "Damn, what's this Pepsi Blue thing?" I'm like, "I love Pepsi Blue." Like one year for my birthday, I was like, "Thanks for the birthday wishes. I wish there was Pepsi Blue still." And then that came back.
Everybody else's birthday gift sucks.
I was like, these people like gave me a surprise party that was so cool, but like, no, there's no. I'm just pulling up a picture of Pepsi Blue to explain what this looks like for.
Is there also like Pepsi Green and Pepsi Red?
There's not. It was just a thing for a brief time.
What is Pepsi Red?
I don't know. Would that be just Code Red?
Lava.
The floor is lava. Yeah, there's Pepsi Blue.
Ooh, okay.
It was a nice clear blue.
Is that so? I'm guessing that's the newer bottle.
The newer, updated bottle they made, but it was it's got a Wikipedia page on the soda wiki. But yes, Pepsi Blue was a big favorite of mine of old ones. But as far as Mountain Dew goes, since that's the actual topic here, Mountain Dew Game Fuel kind of miss. Like the original one is pretty solid.
Like the stuff they put out for
Like
like
Halo 3.
3.
Yeah, that's what the conversation led to on JCDR was we were talking about Halo 3 and just Halo 3 marketing. Mm-hmm. And also...
What a game.
That's game's good. I don't know that one as well. Halo 2 I grew up playing a lot. That was awesome.
BoonePod's official statement is that Halo 3 is probably the best Halo
Halo
game.
3's got what my buddies growing up were calling the toothbrush, aka the gravity hammer. For whatever reason, they called it the toothbrush, which was kind of a funny name because we're all just stupid young lads playing Halo in our backyard and shit. Not with actual Halo games, just stupid kids in golf carts.
So like LARPing.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. When I was growing up, I had a good friend of mine who was also obsessed with Halo 1 and 2 and 3, and his dad made. I have a photo or video I sent Dingo and Hootie a while back, but it was wooden replicas of the like basic guns that were like those flat panel woodens, and like we had like the whole machine gun and the pistol, and I had a SMIG that they had for that game, and that was sick. So we had those and my buddy's dad's golf cart, which was our Warthog. So we just ride around being stupid kids, pretending we were shooting off Covenant members in the flood, and our Warthog that he drove because he was like, I'm not trusting you guys with this golf cart. You're like 12, and like this is my house. I'll drive it. I'll be the driver guy. It's gonna be fun. And we just play like little war games.
He was
and stuff.
the random recruit.
He was awesome. We enjoyed it. He had a great time. He was like really into it as well. So like, it was a whole this fun affair every Sunday afternoon. We were like going to their house and playing Halo in the woods. And I wish we had body armor. We weren't that cool. We just had our hoodies and whatnot, and that was cool. It did the trick. Your imaginations are stronger when you're a kid. Kind of missed that part of my life. So.
Then the world puts you down. You can't imagine anything anymore.
I don't know. Some days I like in the middle of my job at a grocery store and I'm like literally thinking about like, would that be a really cool idea? As people are like, ma'am, sir, you wanna? I'm like, oh, sorry, yeah, here you go.
Some old lady comes up. Where's the parsnips?
Dude, that happened the other day. This lady there was like, hey, where's the chili beans? No, it's like, you know where the hot cocoa is? And I'm like, man, this is like my first day here. I think it's on that aisle over there next to the coffee.
Sorry, this is not my department, ma'am.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm guest service leader, so I'm now supposed to, be extra nice, which is gonna be fun.
Anyways, back to Mountain Dew.
Yes, Mountain Dew.
Before I inevitably forget.
Yeah, where are we going? It's with Mountain Dew discontinued flavors. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
But yeah, the Halo 3 game fuel I miss. A friend of mine really misses Pitch Black, which apparently is coming back.
I'm not big into other flavors of Mountain Dew.
Really?
Except I like the normal I like normal and Diet Mountain Dew.
Okay.
And that's about it. And Baja Blast.
Baja Blast is just that like pinnacle Taco Bell
Baja Blast
experience.
is the only Mountain Dew flavor that I would put above that I would rather drink than a normal Mountain Dew.
I respect that.
Any other flavor of Mountain Dew, I'm like I would try it, but I wouldn't drink it. I wouldn't drink it more than a normal Mountain Dew.
So I base my Mountain Dew choices off snack combos. So
actually, what's your go-to gas station order?
Ooh, my
when you go to a gas station.
Okay, so
what's your snack combo?
A lot of times it is peanut butter M&Ms, and if I decide not to grab a Monster of some site, it is Code Red or Mountain Dew of some sort, some type of caffeine. But if I'm going to go Monster and let's go crazy. Probably like one of the fruit-based Monsters, probably the Pipeline Punch is one of my go-tos. So it's a solid one. But it's also like peanut butter M&Ms and one of those bags of Smart Food white cheddar popcorn.
Ooh,
because
that is a solid pick.
Because like I like that sweet, the saltiness of that. Now minus the part of the white cheddar dust on my fingers all the time. I feel like I have a problem. And then like the peanut butter M&Ms and then the soda. Like it's just that's my go-to. Like I'm gonna go eat those and go watch 5 movies tonight when I go home.
Yeah.
Because that happens when I'm not doing shows around. I just sit and watch movies in a room. So
I would say mine would probably have to be.
Damn, y'all still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say we're talking about gas station orders.
Yeah.
I think mine would probably have to be Arizona green tea.
Pack of Reds and $10 on Pump 6. That's mine.
Dingo gets 15 packs of American Spirits.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then mine's probably Arizona green tea.
Respect. Now you talking like this the one can, or are you talking the whole like pitcher?
The can.
Okay, 'cause can's
Arizona
good.
green tea is not good in the plastic pitcher.
I feel the same.
It is only good in the big cans. Little cans are.
The tall boys is a nice touch.
If the tall boys aren't around, I will accept a small can.
Nah.
But the Arizonas, you need a big can.
Yeah.
And then probably hot fries.
Okay.
You ever had hot fries?
I have. I remember I used to do those as a kid.
Those are top tier snack.
Those the potato stick style ones, so I have in the little can. I had those grab a lot.
And then probably
I just like hitting the phone things.
probably some kind of candy bar.
Yeah, what's
so like a Snickers. Or
okay,
something.
see, my favorite candy bar is actually a Zero bar. It's kind of a super underrated candy bar. It's like white chocolate, caramel, nougat, and like some almonds. And it's really
that
good.
actually sounds nice.
You can't always find them. A lot of people have them.
You know what people get on me for liking?
What's that? Almond Joys?
Mounds.
Mounds?
I love mounds.
Okay.
I'm a mound enjoyer.
I respect that. Not everybody does mounds, you know? There's always a one interesting guy who's like, I want this type of thing.
Or actually, if they don't have Snickers, I will. Second option, Three Musketeers.
That's my only go-to. It's also so much rich sometimes. I feel like it's a little too rich occasionally. But
Three Musketeers you can have like once a month.
yeah.
I think you want to die.
I had my Zero bar today. I think it was my first one.
Your daily Zero bar.
My daily Zero bar. Normally it's a daily Monster, probably. Peanut butter M&Ms.
Your heart's probably going to explode.
I worked third shift for a couple years, and somehow I'm still alive after doing literally weekends where I would do the whole show thing and then work my job as a third shift guy
Jesus
at
Christ.
Sheets. Yeah, I literally do these weekends where I'd be on the road with Jake and his band, literally Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Get back Sunday afternoon, go to work at 10 p.m., work until 6 a.m., to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then repeat the same process.
Oh my God.
And then, of course, do things like go to the comic shop and pick up comics and stuff, like my regular random things. And like a lot of those weekends consisted of me drinking like C4s and Bangs and Monsters or something.
C4s are the ones that give you
It's
body
like
tingles, right?
it's insane the amount. I was doing things where I was like 2 or 3 at a shift sometime.
I didn't know C4s did
Yeah,
give you
it's
the body
insane.
tingle. I drank one. So back like 2 years ago when I was working at a grocery store, on my break sometimes I'll get an energy drink.
Yeah.
If I felt like I really needed it. So I one day I got a C4 and I was just on break sitting in my car eating lunch and I drank a C4, and then like when I was walking back in to clock in, I'm like, I don't like this. Like my body was very tingly and itchy.
So-
And then I stopped drinking them because I'm like, I thought I was allergic to them. Because I didn't know that they gave you the tingle.
Yeah,
so I assumed I was allergic.
It's some powerful stuff, man.
And then I texted all my friends. I'm like, yeah, I really like this energy drink. Because I'm like, C4 tastes the best.
It does have a nice taste to it.
And then he was like, no, you dumbass. They make you tingle.
It's brutal.
Because they're meant for like pre-workouts.
Yeah, it's pre-workout type stuff. Yeah, so what's funny is like Dingo I've been hanging out at the Dingo Den, and they've been working on their studying homework and stuff, and I started making them this thing called Blondie, which is a tribute to a friend of mine. Where one time my friend and I were going to a concert, I forget what show. I think we were seeing Microwave that night, and we're on the way to the show. And we're both kind of tired, and they're like, "Hey, I made a thing," and we're like, "What?" So he like hands us a Tall Boy Monster, one of those white ones, and just goes, "Here, drink some." And I already had my Monster I was drinking, but I was still a little like not fully, like a Monster kicks in the right moment, you're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
It wasn't there yet. He hands me some of this, and I was like, it tastes different. Like, what's in it? And he's like, so it's a Tall Boy White Monster and a 5-hour energy mixed together.
Oh my God.
And I think Dingo's had
How
2
much
of
caffeine
those.
is that?
I don't know the math, but I have done shifts when I was working Sheets where I would do one of those and then proceed to drink another Monster. That's the thing. Death Wish coffee I really enjoy. That's also if you're feeling Death Wish. It's a cup of Death Wish is like equivalent to like a Monster and a half or something. It's
Death Wish.
I love that stuff.
Because I'm not a big energy drink guy. I used to be a moderate drinker.
Yeah, I wish
now
I could be
I
moderate.
Don't.
I just because of that lifestyle, there's certain weird quirks from working third shift that have not escaped my body. Even if I try to tone back energy drinks, it's annoying as hell, honestly.
Yeah, I just drink. I'm boring. I drink black coffee.
You're not. I drink black coffee too. That's my go-to. They were complaining the other day in another year collective, like in the group chat we have about the fact that they have to have cream and sugar. And I was like, nah, dog, it's black coffee and a
Just drink
cigarette. Black coffee and a cigarette. It's freaking great. So good. So
Can't say I've tried that.
black coffee and a cigarette, well, at the same time, but like black coffee outside.
Yeah, you chew the cigarette and then you
Just
smoke
to
the
sprinkle it
coffee.
inside, maybe. Exactly.
Ooh.
I should do that. I haven't done that yet. I should sprinkle.
Yeah, so when you're when you're brewing the coffee, just
like a little sprinkle.
unwrap the cigarette and just
should.
throw all the tobacco in there.
that way I can just kill myself faster.
That's how you make kratom.
Well, Justin, backyard's not making kratom based off my cigarette and coffee addiction. Enjoy. All ages too. So every kid should enjoy kratom, right? That's allowed, right? I can say that on here, can I? I don't know.
What? I don't really know what kratom is.
Same here. I'm just saying things
Because I know there's
cool.
a shop in Boone where you can buy it.
I've noticed that.
It's like a drink shop. It's called Noble Kava.
Yeah, there was supposed to be a show recently there, and I was like, maybe I'll go to the show.
One of the guys I had on recently at Latchwork, he plays there all the time.
Huh. Yeah, I'm not.
You guys should check out Latchwork stuff. He is awesome.
we'll do. I'll have to check that out. There's so much music I need to catch up on locally and big.
time?
I don't know. I think we're
7.
We are at 7.
Like, we're at an hour and a half.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So.
But you said you wanted this to be the longest episode.
It was the longest episode. I think
To
at this
get the
point,
longest episode, we'd have to do this for 20 more minutes.
Yeah, it's also crazy if like 20 more minutes of this, but it's also 7 o'clock, and I know there's places to be. So, this is also the longest I've talked about myself and every random topic that pops.
Maybe if I have you on again, we'll get to.
I feel like
we'll hit the 2 hours.
We'll be a part 2. We'll do let's do the Dingo Dan.
There are a bunch of
episode.
people that I've had on season 1 where I would like to do a part 2.
I mean,
You, Dingo.
I feel that should be crossover, but I'm just biased because we're homies, and I think it'd be funny. But
BoonePod X in the backyard.
in your backyard, X Dingo. I don't know. For the
I
crazy
will.
triple
I will
threat.
do. No, in the time.
That was the original plan when you showed up. I was like, dude, what if we like get you mic'd up too, and then you're interviewing BoonePod, but I'm interviewing BoonePod, but I'm interviewing you, and we're all back and forth at the
That
same
would
time.
be awesome. We
And it
should
was
do
just a
that
triple
sometime.
threat style, where it's just like, what is happening and it kind of happened a little bit, but not where we were joking.
Not as much as I would like.
I mean, that might have been good though. It might have gone really off the rails.
Maybe we can also have Nate on.
I mean, Nate could be on. Talk about sports facts.
Come on, talk about Tom Brady for an hour.
Or was it the Giants? Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Giants. That's their team. Is the Giants. Unlike me, who's a Dolphins fan, which is a whole thing of me saying that was a joke, and I was like, oh, this is the gayest football team, and
And now you're actually in.
it literally for years just like I'm the gayest. This is the gayest football team, and then this year I kind of started saying it, and then next time I like literally now I'm like paying attention to it and nosing
now you're sitting down
scores.
and actually watching their games.
Or watch it off my phone, so I can't just have access to it because I'm like, somewhere else. I'm like, well, let me pull up the phone. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, screaming my phone. Everybody's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Just see what they're doing. They're doing well this year, so go Dolphins, I guess. So
I just don't watch football.
I mean, I don't always watch it unless I'm here. If I'm here, I'm probably watching football at some point.
Me and Dingo were talking about how Dingo always watches football.
Yeah, and when Dingo's team loses, I send them hug emojis as like a sympathy, like, oh, sorry, pal.
I messaged them on the BoonePod Instagram, and I was like watching this game, thinking about you, and then Dingo was like, "This game is awful."
Yeah, there's been really
It
rough.
was a Panthers game.
Yeah, the Panthers games. There's ones from now with Jackson. I will just send a hug emoji, and it's just this normal thing. And then our buddy Hootie is also a Lions fan. They're not known for being great, so I send them a hug emoji as well. If they get like actual one, I like send like horns or congrats or something. It's fun. I enjoy it. But football's cool.
Who's doing the best this season?
Hey, who's doing the best this season?
That's a. If you want to go by record, the Eagles.
Okay,
But
so
they're
the Eagles are doing the
probably not
best.
The best team.
What is the best team right now, Nate?
Probably the Chiefs.
Okay. No, see, Nate knows. I just follow my one team.
Everyone follow his advice religiously. Bet on them.
Yes.
Sports gambling is endorsed by BoonePod.
And Nate Dog.
Nate Dog.
I mean, that's just what. That's your nickname,
He should make his
right?
own podcast called Nate Pod.
Dude, can you start a sports podcast? Please? I would listen.
I'd listen.
They're thinking about it, by the way. We're not sure if that will actually happen, the sports podcast, but if it does, let's go,
I should make one episode where I just talk about. It's a solo episode where I talk about sports, but it's complete bullshit.
What if you talk about,
You're
like,
just
songs
like, yeah,
about sports?
Brendan Johnson scored 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
for
Brendan
the
Urie
New
playing for the
England-
Knicks,
for the New York New Giants.
the New York and New Giants. BoonePod talks about football in the year 2040.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
The Dallas Detroit.
The Dallas
The
Howards.
Dallas Detroit scored 3 separate goals.
Bryce
against
Dallas
the
Howard. That's who
get me
should do
Golden
it.
State.
Oh, we're not going to go there?
Don't get me started.
Okay,
Patriots.
gotcha.
It's my celebrity crush.
Oh,
led by-
good choice.
Bryce
led
Dallas
by
Howard.
Tom
That's
Brady and
Those Mando
Julius.
episodes, man.
just Julius.
Don't get me started.
He doesn't
on
have a
Mando.
last
I mean,
name.
we'll just do the second episode where we talk about
He's
Star
from
Wars.
Brazil.
Yeah.
The next episode is somewhat Star Wars.
I will say I don't think I've ever really talked about Star Wars on BoonePod.
Star Wars is such an annoying conversation now because I feel like you talking about Star Wars at this point in age, it's like talking about religion at your Christmas dinner with your in-laws, because it's such a debated, heated conversation now.
Have
and
you
like,
watched Andor?
it's on the list of things I need to watch.
Andor is so fucking good.
Everyone says
I
that.
haven't watched the last episode.
It's so, dude. That entire
Don't worry about that.
That
last
entire
episode. We'll
show.
talk about
Dude,
it.
Andor's probably.
Oh, wait, that episode. My bad.
Andor's probably some of the best Star Wars ever put out.
I've heard so much good
I
things.
watched it, it felt really slow to me, and except for like it felt like so it took me a little bit to get into. Then
The first 3 episodes are definitely
one of-
slow.
Then you probably know exactly what episode I'm talking about. It really sped up, then it slowed down again, and kind of felt like they were just trying to draw it out, and then it really sped up again towards the end. And
it's probably what I'll sit down and watch.
I'm excited
soon.
for season 2, which they said they were filming season 2 in February.
That's cool.
So,
I think
it's 24 episodes planned. I know for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I think before the show even came out, Disney was like, "Yeah, there's going to be 3 seasons."
Oh, I thought it was 2 seasons of 12.
No, it's 3 seasons, 12 episodes.
Oh wow,
that's
so
cool.
36.
That's really sick.
They must have known how good it was.
It looks impressive.
One of my friends who's really big into Star Wars, he's really mad at how good the sets are on Andor. He's like, why weren't the sets this good in Obi-Wan or in Kenobi?
That's fair.
But then
I enjoy Kenobi too.
You watch Andor and you're like, wow, this show is so fucking good.
It's on my list of things to watch. I just been working on a rewatch of Teen Titans lately. That's kind of my thing.
I need to.
I'm not. It still holds up well. Also, I didn't realize like amount of the writing is just actual writers who wrote the stuff in the '80s, which is kind of cool. I don't know. Like I said, I tend to just work on shows I'm helping out with or promoting, and I'll watch things when I have time. And there's nothing else to do, and I'm like, all right, fine. I'll put on 5 random movies and watch those and whatever.
I feel like such a normie. The only shows I ever end up watching are shows that are like the big and trendy ones.
I mean, the big and trendy ones are cool
I do need
too.
to sit down and watch some actual good shows. Like I've been meaning to watch Breaking Bad for like 3 years.
Breaking Bad's what we saw. A newer show that I'm curious when the new season will drop is a show called Righteous Gemstones. That's really sick.
I've heard of it, yeah.
But also, I grew up with like a religious background, so a lot of it kind of hits home of like, oh, this is relatable and reminds me of 5 people from my childhood and whatnot. But that show's great if you grew up with a lot of like growing up in the South and church world a lot, which I feel like is semi-relatable for half the people who might listen to this. I don't know. So, but yeah, I think. So let me cut. Yeah, I think that's about all I know of right now. Anything that pop in my head. So.
In general.
I mean,
that's everything you know.
I mean, you want me to start talking about my depression or something? Like,
maybe that's for part 3 or 4.
3 or 4. The 3 or 4 of the sagas of just episodes where it's
so like 2 years from now when we're recording part 4.
When I go through my mental breakdown, and then Backyard becomes like, I don't know, in your junkyard or something.
Are you gonna have a successor for that?
That was a ongoing conversation I had.
Because that's something I've definitely thought about.
Yeah, because I want to keep going, but like at some point I realized that eventually I might have to, move on at least from this part of the program and go to a different side of it. Maybe I don't know what Backyard's future is, but the thought of a legacy or like a person to take up, because right now it's just a soloist job, which is different. I'm not been while it's just been me, so I've been kind of thinking about various people have been like offered to help out, but I'm super particular about. Because it's my baby. I don't want to like just be like, here, you want some of this? And like, I bet some people will help out.
You're talking about this stuff. I'm like, it's extremely similar to how I feel about BoonePod.
Yeah, I can't just pass it to somebody. I have to make sure it's the right guy and like really be like, all right, I'm trusting you now. Like,
yeah, because early on when I was doing BoonePod, somebody said, one of my friends suggested to me to have a co-host on. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do a co-host because I want to keep 100% creative control at all times. And if I don't have it, then I'm like, well, I might as well not be making it. But I have definitely thought about maybe after I graduate from App State,
for sure,
giving the show to someone else.
That'd be cool. That's kind of like
that's what I would love to have, like different generations.
That'd be sick because like when you started, it was also you had Boomcast going on too, and I thought it was the same thing, and I was like, oh
I
wait,
know, when I first started, I didn't know about them, and then after I put the first episode out, then that's when I learned about them, and I was like, oh, they're gonna fucking think I'm copying them.
Yeah,
they're not. They're extremely chill about it. Please watch Boomcast. They're awesome.
Yeah, I need to as well. That's something about being buddies with like AmericanDingo now. So like we're both interesting human beings, so now I have to worry about like, oh, can I pitch this crazy idea? Then make sure it's not like I'm just ripping off one of your crazy ideas, which typically it's not. There's been moments where I've kind of debated some ideas. I'm like, I'll pass it to their show instead. I'm like, hey, just do this idea.
There's been a few ideas that I want to do for the next season because I do want the next season to be more ambitious than just normal long form episodes. It's not going to be anything crazy like a completely different show or whatever. But I do have a few ideas for maybe side shows that I want to do.
That'd be cool.
Like the gorilla episodes that I want to do. Where
I think the gorilla episodes would be really sick.
Where I just go somewhere on campus and just sit down and talk to people.
I think that'd be really cool.
Which would basically just be what we're doing right now.
I mean, this is the
with random people
semi-pilot of it, I guess. Tryout, maybe. I don't know.
Then I have a bunch of ideas for stuff I want to do for season 2, but
I'm
gonna have to let that brew to
do it on top of a mountain.
Maybe. I definitely when we were talking earlier today when you were like when I was still trying to figure out a place to do this because I could not think of a place to record because you can't you can't book the normal room that I used to record on the weekends, which sucks. Which is
Yeah.
why I almost never record on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I was like, if the sun was still up, I honestly thought about maybe going out on the parkway to sit down and record.
That'd been cool.
That would have been cool.
That'd be nice.
At the same time, it's like it's also cold and rainy.
I just shivering the whole time, so I'm just like shaking on the thing, and it sounds like I have like some weird disease or something. I don't know.
But I do definitely want to. I would love to just do a lot of guerrilla recording.
That'd be
where
sick. I think that's a good
record in
idea.
Weird, different places.
You should just do it during a set, like a music set. That's like certain people while they're
so
playing.
So the interview is completely incomprehensible.
Yeah, so like while there's like the band Trout About playing, you just like record while they're performing. It's like, oh, question.
Talking to random people in the crowd.
Yeah, it's like while they're trying to mosh.
And then in between songs, I'm like, how do you feel about this?
Well, I mean, there's thing in hardcore you mic grab. You just steal the mic and you just answer from the mic. Maybe you do that. I don't know. That'd be funny. But I also like weird
I
art
go
pieces.
up on stage and I'm like, hi, I'm BoonePod.
That must be a fun video one, honestly. That'd be funny. But I also just know how chaotic and stupid that's going to be, and then entertains me. Because I'm an agent of chaos.
I do want to
sometimes.
see. I do want to keep some kind of consistency here.
For sure, but I mean that's like a Patreon episode. I don't know. Maybe you don't want Patreons.
BoonePod Patreon.
BoonePod. I mean,
All of my content will be free for the people.
for same. I mean, I do this for the people, so I get it. You know, like other people used
I
to do
haven't
things.
spent any money on it, and I haven't made any money off of
I've
it.
made a little money, but it's mainly just because some bands have reached out and were like, "Look, we appreciate what you do. Here is $20," and I'm like, "Thank you." You know, where it's been some situations where people have been like, "Hey, I like what you do. Will you do a paid promoted copy of what you do already?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, sounds good."
We're getting close to longest episode.
We are getting close to the longest episode.
We're at 138 right now.
Oh shit!
Let me hold on. Wait. Let me.
This is low key a thing, by the way, boys. Is that we've been working on my
wa-
challenge of trying to be the longest episode.
What I want to do. Do you want to get to the longest episode and be like we get to the exact same minute, but it's like I think the longest episode right now is it's 143:37. Do you want to get to like 144?
Yeah, and then by that point, I see by 143, we just have to maybe start shouting out people. This wasn't scripted, by the way. This is the most off the cuff interview I've ever done. Some people come with questions, and I'm like, that's cool.
BoonePod is never scripted.
I like.
I almost always never. I also don't think I've ever thought of topics for an episode.
I quickly, like I said, I studied the episodes, and I was like, yeah, there's no set topic style with this unit.
No.
All right.
Well, it's mostly because I do kind of want it to flow like a normal conversation. But like I will think of some things that I'm like, okay, I do want to talk about this, but it's never like hardcore set topics. It'll just be like, oh, if I remember to talk about this, we'll talk about
Nah,
it.
totally for sure. Like I think like it's also kind of boring being like, oh, they're going to ask about my new album
Yeah.
or my new art project or what color socks I'm wearing.
That's what I mean. That's why some episodes end up being like. Some episodes will be like I'll have a musician on and we'll talk about like random bullshit for the entire time. But then some episodes will actually talk about the music they make or whatever. It's just whatever ends up coming up in the conversation. That's what I'm going to talk about.
No, it's a solid. I prefer that than the scripted format podcast style.
I mean, that's also why all of the episodes are in person.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wondered about that too.
Because my thought process behind it is that if I'm interviewing someone or if I'm having someone on the podcast, if you're doing like a Zoom interview, you can't it's hard to have a real conversation with someone.
Yeah, for sure.
Zoom. Because if you're doing it in person, you can see their body language,
Yeah.
everything, and you can have an actual
And you're also not
conversation.
distracted by you're on your phone and so and so's like, yo, you want to get pizza later? And I'm like, yeah, sure, but like I'm doing this right now. Then they're knowing your phone for 20 minutes, so.
Yeah, it's like if you're doing this in person, it's like this is going to be like the entire focus.
Yeah, which
for,
is
like,
also sick
however long
versus.
we record.
I mean, unless you start doing guerrilla interviews, then it might be more distracting. I think.
Yeah, I don't know if it's my place to do real interviews.
I
I
mean,
feel like that's more Boonecast.
I prefer less professional ones. I mean, I will say if BooneCast is listening and wants to actually do one, let me know. I will gladly show up in January and do a
I definitely
BooneCast
do.
episode.
I think my stuff is mostly it's not interviewing musicians or local creatives. It's mostly just talking to them.
Yeah, sure.
So-
I think that's a better setup than the other like professional NPR level stuff that people try and do all the time.
Shout out NPR.
Shout out NPR.
I do actually listen to NPR.
I listen to
I listen to their 15-minute
Tiny Desk episodes. I enjoy the Tiny Desk NPRs.
The only NPR stuff I listen to is they put out like a 15-minute podcast every morning. It's like getting you caught up on the news.
Oh, nice.
That's what I listen to every.
That's
I know I'm a
solid.
boring old man, but that's what I listen to every
I don't know,
morning.
I was listening to a satirical one called Worst Possible Timeline that the style of both those people's opinions are so like you don't know what actual beliefs they have. That I'd have to silence part of the episode because I was afraid my roommates at the time would be like, "What type of weird propaganda you listen to?" Like, no, it's not. It's just
like what kind of Alex Jones shit.
It was like that level, but like it wasn't Alex Jones. It was just like chaotic. Like we're gonna say crazy stuff and then watch you freak out for 5 minutes because we just said that. But like we don't mean anything personal. We're just that level of extreme humor a while, which I dug. But like you couldn't just put that on your phone when you were doing the dishes because your roommates be like, "What? What is that?" Yo, don't worry about it.
It's not. It's not this kind of stuff you listen to out loud.
I mean. I would when no one was home, but would people around? Maybe not. Unless they knew the show, then sure, I'll do it. But
there's one podcast I listen to where I'm like, I cannot listen to this on speakers. I have to listen to it with headphones.
Yeah, my the comic shop I've been going to for years, they do a podcast sometimes, and it's funny because my family's like, been around these guys for years, just dropping me off the shop, whatever. And there's moments when they're like, "Why is are you on the phone with so and so?" I'm like, "Oh no, it's just the podcast." And I'm like, "All right, cool." But yeah, I don't know. Podcasts are cool. So.
Something that I've been listening to for years, because like I listen to. I mean, I don't want to say I listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to maybe max 5 at a time, but I don't know. I just like doing them.
They're also fun to do. I also enjoy this like listening to interviews of famous people or people I'm fascinated by for a week. So sometimes I'll consume every interview I can find on a guy, just because I can and. It's something to listen to. I know there's a nice hour or two. There's a couple I saved this week.
There's going to be some people that are really into your stuff. They're going to listen to this and be like, oh,
yeah, they're like
this is the longest we've ever got them talking.
Exactly. In general, because I'm the quiet guy at Hangout. It's like, Dan, what's your thoughts? And I'm like, good. Dan, what you want to do? I don't know. And then I shrug for 5 minutes. But
what do you want to get for dinner? Food.
I don't know, food. And like, Dan, stop being a sarcastic asshole. I'm like, sorry. Cookout again? All right, sure, let's get Cookout. So, I mean,
Don't mention Cookout. I will go there again tonight.
I low-key want to get, like, Backyard sponsored by, like, Cookout or Biscuitville or something stupid.
If I could get, like, BoonePod sponsored by Cookout, oh, my God.
I'd be jealous. Then be like, how's your... Oh, I used to work at Cookout.
Did you used to work at Cookout?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I knew that at one point. I forgot that was good early. I met Nate when I was drunk off lots of alcohol, watching Godzilla.
What else would you be drunk off of? Jesus?
Life. Well, back in my younger years, there's a lot of communion. Different scenario. So, I also walked on water once. That was crazy. So, not really a true story. I walked on water as a small child. That happened. Yeah.
I'm just thinking about this. If I could choose who I'd want to be sponsored by, if I could be sponsored by the town of Boone, that'd be awesome.
That'd be really cool.
I did actually. Okay, so the guest that I was talking about earlier, where I'm like, it's so out of question. Where I'm like, I would love to have them on, but I don't know if it would even happen. I thought about having the mayor of Boone on.
That'd be sick.
Just shooting him an email, being like, "Hey, I run a student-led podcast that focuses on talking to people in Boone. Would you like to be on?" And then one of my friends said, "Hey, get Luke Combs on." I'm like, that would be the magnum opus episode. If I could get Luke
Combs episode, that'd be sick.
Because Luke Combs he went to App State.
Yeah, I remember when he came through a couple years back. That was that big show last year, where it was. I remember hearing about that show.
We had one this year.
Okay,
like within the last few months.
That's awesome. I enjoy country music. I worked in country radio actually for a brief time as a producer. The radio station was also haunted, which was.
Was it a Vietnamese man?
No. Or? So, also, fun fact, I've worked at like 4 or 5 places that are haunted. A comic shop is haunted, still is. I worked at a place that's probably haunted now. I worked at a movie theater where someone during Christmas had went on a date with another person, and, she went to the bathroom during the date, and apparently next thing we find out that the chick has had a seizure and has died and choked on her own vomit from dying and dies in our bathroom on a night before Christmas on a first date with somebody, and the person on this date didn't do anything because he generally thought she's got stood up, like he didn't care about her or whatever, and wasn't not gonna go approach her because he's got, so didn't know that his date just died, and that's how I came home. That shift was told my mom like, someone died at our shift, and she was being a sarcastic dick, and I was like, no, I'm serious, like. Someone died, and we found that whole lady on the first date. She was like a single mom. Her kids are really small. It's around Christmas time. It was really tragic. I worked at like 4 or 5 haunted places, actually. Radio stations, movie theaters.
Is it cool to work at a haunted place?
It doesn't bother me. Like, I'm just kind of like, oh, cool, it's haunted, whatever. Like, I don't get freaked out by it. I'm just kind of amused by it because I've like done so much that like getting a job for me is funny because some people are like, so what's your job experience? And I'll like tell them the normal things, and like halfway through them finding out and hiring me, I tell them, the place we're haunted, and they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, crazy.
Someone in my family used to work at He's a photographer.
Okay,
and
that's cool.
He worked in the Eastern State Penitentiary in Pennsylvania, which is the most haunted penitentiary in the United States. He worked there for like months, but he would always work like night shift. So he'd work from like, like 11 to like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah,
that was his shift. And he would take photographs, and he was like, "Yeah, the place was haunted as shit."
Yeah, between that, working third shift sheets, people like overdose near,
And then he brought me a mug back home, and
Awesome. Is the mug nice? You still have the mug?
I still have the mug.
That's
it's
good.
It's at my apartment right now.
It's awesome.
It's actually my go-to. It's actually my go-to coffee mug.
That's sick. Black coffee and the dead guy mug.
It also
awesome.
helps that it is a fully solid black mug.
That's sick.
It's fully solid, so it's a black mug, and then it has like a picture of the prisoners that were there. But the prisoner on the mug was a dog that they had there as a prisoner because it killed like the mayor's cat or something, the mayor's wife's cat. And so they literally sent it to prison.
Wow.
And then it died in the prison. So.
That is insane.
I have that on a mug. I will say, hey, we're at longest episode.
We are at the longest episode.
We're at 147 right now.
Holy shit. Longest episode, BoonePod, final episode. Everything about the season has all come down to this. It's crazy.
Next season I will have a 3-hour episode.
The 3-hour episode. Whoa.
Maybe.
That's like...
If I can find someone to talk to me for that long. Because it's like, I can do it. I can do 3
I'm impressed
hours.
by just how long we've talked about, and I just met you today.
A lot of people are surprised when they have it when they come on an episode, and I tell them, like, yeah, this is what time we're at. And they're like, what? We've been talking for that long?
It's impressive, Like your stuff is really good, but it's just been fun. I've enjoyed doing this. Would love to do it again another time down the road. Part two. Maybe it's
Part 2 in the 6-part series.
The 6-part series. The triple threat match will be fun. I think that's what we need to do next. The triple threat. We have 3 of us yelling at each other the whole time, and it just turns to Dingo and I yelling at each other about something stupid, and you're having to sit in the middle of it like it's 2 parents fighting over their kid who's they're both divorced obviously. And
so what I'm gonna do now?
What we're doing?
Something you're prepared for.
I am actually prepared for once.
I'm gonna give you a few minutes. Shout out whoever you want. I see that it's not necessarily a long list.
Oh, of course not. That would just be every person from Backyard's following. That'd be a lot of people. So.
How many people follow that?
How many people? Let's see. I'm terrible.
Because I was going to ask you, and then I don't remember.
I mean, we got sidetracked by a lot of conversations, so it's totally understandable. I can't read numbers properly, so if you want to read that out at the current moment.
3,304.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's a lot more than...
A lot of things. Yeah, a lot of... That's why it's so like, oh, that person promoted my thing right now. What the hell? Because I'll typically be like, hey, follow this band's really cool. So... But yeah, that's me. That's I'm the backyard guy. Otherwise known as the Dantichrist. So you want me to shout out people now? All right, cool. Let's do shout out first is my buddy Theo, also currently part of In Your Backyard. Now they work at a tattoo shop / piercing shop called Corrupted Arts Tattoo in Greensboro. You should go check them out on Instagram at Corrupted Arts Tattoo. Shout out JCDR, which consists of let's see roll call. So you got Hootie, Angel, Jughead, Big Time Tommy, Nat, American Dingo themselves, Jake Skate, Snack DeMarco, Snack DeMarco, who is also part of Jake's original first band, AX. I'm double checking so I don't want to have them come for my throat later because that's going to be violent if they come for my throat. Oh, Ryan is also in that group. Ryan's in a band I eventually start called Koresh one of these days down the road. When I decide to have time for a band project, that'll be one of those. Yeah, shout out JCDR. Shout out Another Year Collective, which is another thing I'm a part of, which is my buddy Zach and also Hootie and Angel and Howard, and that's a whole hardcore podcast that we're doing, which is really sick. Shout out local hardcore from NC, like Fading Signal, Rapid Fire, India Rope, Sparing, Eyes Wide Shut. So many bands. There's so many freaking NC hardcore bands, but like Fading Signal, Rapid Fire, some of my buddies and good friends of mine. Shout out Acme Comics. It's a comic shop based out of Greensboro that I've been going to since I was like 14. I don't know. I love that shop. Like, I probably wouldn't be where I am today without comic books and music, honestly. And outside of that, I think there might be one more here. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But oh, yeah, then I guess, shout out Jake's other band, Sloth and Felspar, Stomped Out and Trout About, and whatever else that gets fucking cool. The Weasels are pretty sweet. Those guys are awesome.
Isn't Dingo in a band too?
American Dingo, yeah, shout out American Dingo, shout out Trout About, that's the American Dingo band. I think they also have like 20 art projects maybe, I don't know. Every week I hear about another crazy idea that they're missing. Sammy Sosa, also part of Dingo. I don't know. Shout out Cookout, PBR, T-shirts.
PBR.
Bro. PBR is like...
Dude, that
should be actually sponsorship.
BoonePod.
Sponsored by PBR.
Sponsored by PBR.
The was it Pabst Boone...
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Pabst Boone Ribbon?
Pabst Boone.
Oh,
Ooh.
Pabst Boone Ribbon.
They have a special limited edition release.
Yeah, it was just got some like cool art on it from like some local people. Which you guys have great arts, and I've noticed that the one person on recently was really cool.
Danny
yeah, that stuff was sick.
Awesome.
I like messaged him after, was like, "Yo, your stuff's really cool. I like all of your art." But yeah, shout out that. Shout out Life.
Shout out Jesus.
And me. Jesus, me are homies. I don't know. We haven't talked in a long time.
Shout out Jesus. Shout out the Antichrist.
Shout out the Antichrist, the actual Antichrist. Shout out me. Shout out the Antichrist. Shout out Yahweh.
Shout out Cookout.
Cookout. Always Cookout. Man, I want some Cookout. I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking about Cookout for the past.
I had Cookout for dinner last night, and we're talking about it. I'm very tempted.
I'm supposed to go to a party later, and I might just get some Cookout. Honestly, after this is over, which apparently might be very soon, because I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to go to that any moment now. But yeah, I think that's all the shout-outs I can think of off the top of my head. You know. Oh, go Miami Dolphins. We'll go with that one off there. And
shout out Tom Brady.
No, don't shout out Tom Brady.
Shout out Tom Brady specifically when he kisses his son on the mouth.
I could not condone that. So
I'm not condoning it. I just think it's really funny.
It's like Pope level weird, you know, strange shit. But yeah, I think that's it.
Shout out.
Shout by Tears for Fears, maybe. I'm just.
Shout out Adam Driver.
Yeah, that's a solid one. Adam Driver's chest. Shout out that too.
Shout out Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, there you go.
Hit me up.
Yeah, can Bryce Dallas Howard be on an episode of BoonePod, please? I want that episode. So.
Yeah, if I can ever.
That's
in the next Jurassic Park movie.
The next BoonePod movie. What?
The BoonePod movie.
The BoonePod movie.
The BoonePod documentary.
Whoa.
It's just every episode in a row.
But with like stick figure animation.
Yeah.
It'd be good because no one can animate.
And by the time the movie comes out, I'll be on episode 300.
Yeah, and I'll be dead probably.
If I can hit 100 episodes by the end, like the whole thing, I'd be happy.
I mean, this is episode 12.
Yeah.
That might end now. Maybe not.
Maybe.
This the part where...
We're at 154.
Oh, shit. Is this the part where, like, I get Thanos snapped now? Is this what happens?
Yeah. Well, after we do the end. After we do the outro.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember the outro?
What was the outro?
I know you said you were doing notes.
I just
How well
notes
did you study
on
for
the
the
shout-out.
test?
I did not... I fail a lot. I'm not good at testing, you know?
You might get a bad grade on the test.
Shit.
The BoonePod final.
The BoonePod final.
So the outro...
This will be the first final I've ever had in my life.
The outro is see you later, Booners.
Oh, okay.
So usually I do, with the guest, I do 1, 2, 3, and then on 3, see you later, Booners.
Oh, okay, sweet.
So 1, 2, 3.
See you later, Booners.